can't say anything about yet.
Sure.
But there'll be. I'm crossing my fingers and hoping and wishing and hoping, mostly hoping and wishing that they're going to happen. But we've right now up on Pop Culture Addicts, we've got Doug Jones. I had to think of that. Why couldn't I think of that? But I had to think of Doug Jones for a few minutes. And he, from Star Trek, the other Star Curious place. And so we have that. And then now we just interviewed David W. Collins. I've got my list here somewhere. What else do like Felicia Day. We've got Kevin Martin from Candlebox, the band Candlebox, coming on.
Nice.
We just interviewed Debbie Derryberry, the voice of Jimmy Neutron, and a few other things. So yeah, we're rounding out the pop culture-ness.
Good. And Felicia Day is so much fun.
Oh my God. Yeah.
She is the queen of the nerds. There is no doubt about that. So I've loved her since the old guild days.
Speaking of, did you hear about this? They are currently crowdsourcing to do a movie.
Yes. And we talk about that in the interview.
Nice.
So yeah, that's a very big part of the conversation, because with the guild, with the comeback, Felicia wanted to make sure that this was something that was by the fans, for the fans, and was not beholden to a major studio and their whims and what they wanted to do and why they wanted to do it and all these different things. Much like the Doug Jones interview this week, he talked about his documentary called Get Me Doug Jones. And, by the way, he's got a really killer Kickstarter coming up. And Felicia's going to have a massive Kickstarter coming up with some really cool gifts for people who back it. So,
well, I'll be backing it for sure, because I was a guild fan back in the day. So,
oh, for sure. Yeah. So
100%. All right. Well, Tim, thank you for joining us again. I know you have a lot to say about the state of things currently. Just a little bit. And let's meet the rest of our motley crew, shall we? Hailing from parts unknown, it is T to the Oni.
We are especially in parts unknown today, folks. That's why I've got the shroud of mystery around me here. But welcome back to the galaxy. We're always happy to have you here. Let's get into it.
All righty. And, of course, captain of the infamous Parma Flyer, it's Crash.
Hey, everybody. It's good to be home. Real busy out at Disneyland Star Wars Night. We'll get into that later on this season. But for now, let's not go in those S-foils, because we got a lot to get into.
There you go. I have so many questions for you, too, about all that stuff. So, but tonight, we are talking about, of course, what's on everyone's mind, the Mandalorian and Grogu. And it has been a ride. The ride began with the release of the trailer, and it has just been a roller coaster ever since. So we're going to get into it. We've waited nearly 7 years to see a Star Wars film. That alone, for me, the experience, worth the price of admission. Being in a theater, looking at the big screen, being surrounded by a couple hundred nerds that are, you're sharing the laughs and the cheers and the gasps, and it's just a shared experience. Could this have been a season? Sure. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. It could have been a season. Should it have been a season? Nope. Nope. Absolutely not. We were able to see how John was able to really, really dive a little bit deeper, especially with some of the sets and some of the design work. Knocked it out of the park. And there was a really cool little interview between him and Adam Savage. They were in the hangar looking at some of the props and things. And he talked about how with a film, you have so much more time. You've got a deadline, of course, but you've got so much more time to really dig into things. Whereas with a TV show, you've got to get moving. It's got to get knocked out. Boom, boom, boom. So they've got the volume, of course. So there's a ton that they can do with the volume. They've got obviously talented model makers and prop masters and things like that. But the standout for me really was Shikari. I mean, like the moment that we see Shikari, you know, flying over, okay, yes, it looks, you know, it does resemble, you know, Coruscant. You know, you've got that Ecumenopolis vibe. But as soon as we land,
I feel like that's my new drink word.
Ecumenopolis, I think it's Ecumenopolis. 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 Maybe just take a drink every time I mispronounce it.
It's a good thing this is juice.
Right. So, you know, we're seeing the bridges, you know, it's got that Chicago. I mean, it was, you know, like I said in the opening, it was based off of, inspired by Prohibition Chicago, New York, Boston, all that. And you got that, you know, Scorsese. I mean, having Scorsese portray the food truck guy, I mean, that was beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful. So before we get too deep into it, I'll throw my take out there, but I want to hear from you guys. So Tim, your thoughts, please.
So I absolutely love the movie. I think one of the biggest pluses for the movie is that and one of my reviews, I think my review on TikTok, I called it a popcorn movie.
Yeah.
It's the perfect popcorn movie. You get to sit down. It's a fun movie. You get to sit down, and as long as you're not going into it with the expectation that this has to be lore shaking, groundbreaking difference of Star Wars, and you can just go in there with the idea that I'm going to go have fun and I'm going to watch a fun movie that I could take my entire family to.
Yep.
This is the perfect movie for that. And you know, I can't tell you how many times I straight up either went, oh, or giggled because of some Easter egg or something that was in the movie. And I was like, and I'm looking at my wife who went with me. And I'm like, that was in A New Hope. That's a reference to New Hope right there. That's what that is.
My wife and I went, and she did that. She was like, shut up. Like, shut up.
Yeah, my wife gave up on that a long time ago. She knows I'm going to keep talking anyway. But yeah, for me, that was the most fun. Is that, and one of the things I love about what Favreau and Filoni do, or as I like to call them, the Holy Filoni and the Faithful Favreau. They do a really good job of tying the knots together between this and bringing these two projects together and linking up things to make sure that there's a nice flow across the universe. Jedi hand wave, see what I did there? And so I liked that about the movie, that there's these Easter eggs and these little references to different things that are callbacks. And that mean a lot to the Star Wars fans. And so for me, that's a big part of the movie and one of the reasons why I liked it so much.
Yeah. And, you know, and you mentioned something that we've talked about before, and Crash has brought this up too, especially when we're talking about Filoni. We know that Filoni is a builder. You know, Crash, you've said it before. What, you know, filler
episode is prologue.
This prologue, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And you know, and Tim, you know, you mentioned something too. It's like, you know, not everything has to be like this earth-shattering giant lore drop that advances, you know, the entire saga forward. But that happened in this. That happened. And it was so subtle. And I don't think that many people really even noticed it. But there are lore-shaking events that happened in the movie. And it's the death of the twins. Yeah. The twins die. That's not the end of the Hutt crime syndicate. But there's going to be a power vacuum that's going to be felt throughout the system, throughout the Outer Rim. It's going to impact commerce, trade across the galaxy, crime across the galaxy. And as we know in the sequels, Kanji Club at that time, they're like the predominant crime syndicate. So is this power vacuum we're seeing with the Hutts, is that the in that Kanji Club needed to start their rise to power? So now when we go back to watch the sequels, when we're seeing Han square off against Kanji Club, you know, at the time you're like, oh, this is just another spacer gang. I mean, it's like, you know, they're not that important, but they were a big syndicate at that time.
Right.
So now when he's squaring off against them, we're going to know that Din and his little buddy Grogu basically made that happen. They indirectly, potentially, if these are the dots they want to connect, they indirectly caused the rise of Kanji Club. So there is some big lore drop there potentially if they go in that direction, and it would be a really good tie-in with the sequels. So I mean, because we're moving in that direction anyway, timeline wise. So, but I don't know. It's like, so that was the one thing if they died. I mean, we still don't. Well, no, they're dead. They're deader than fried chicken. But
they're dead.
Yeah, they're dead. They're dead. So they're not the only Hutts.
Go through their pockets and look for loose change.
Yeah, right. They're not the only Hutts. Obviously, there are other Hutt clans, of course. Right. So it's not going to create the end of the Hutt crime syndicate as a whole. But they were big. They were big. So, but anyway, Tony, your thoughts, please, sir.
Well, first off, I'm very glad that you brought that up about the twins' death, because it is absolutely a lore-affecting thing going forward. Not that I needed that from this movie, but it is an excellent point that a lot of people chose to ignore, or more likely aren't big enough fans to understand that is a big deal. I very much enjoyed the movie. As for the planet itself, I thought was nice. For me, in particular, the music on that planet, but I need that in my playlist. That was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that.
The soundtrack was banging, no doubt.
And a lot of it was just reworked themes from the series.
Sure.
There were certain tracks that you're like, oh, this is the part where IG-11 comes in on the speed. They're Ludwig classics that were kind of re-engineered a little bit. Yeah. But then there's the original tracks like Shikari.
Shikari, yeah.
And Rada's fight theme. I was Snips and I had this in the car today. We were driving home from work, and it was just great because it's like they got a bonus track from the end credits. It's just a Mandalorian Grogu dance mix, and I'm just like, okay.
It's like all day. Nobody in the fandom asked for a Mandalorian and Grogu dance mix, but we're very, very happy that we've got a Mandalorian and Grogu dance mix. It almost makes me wish that what was that Star Wars dance game for the Kinect? Do you guys remember that?
I remember the game, the Han Solo. Everybody the Han Solo one.
Doing Solo. I'm flying Solo. It was so bad, but I played the hell out of that stupid game when it came out. It was so bad. I did not like to see my man Boba Fett, twerking, but I mean, it was Star Wars. I mean, it's like it's whatever. It's whatever. It's but a
little back thrust accidentally set off the rocket.
But Boba is vindicated when we see him in the Book of Boba when he's on the speeder, do it like this, guys. Yeah. And that was memed to hell. They're someone put on, what was it? Lowrider from the band War there, and he was just on there, just doing it. So Tony, what else? What were your overall impressions? What were there any really deep cuts or Easter eggs that jumped out at you that, you were just like, oh my God, I can't believe they put that in?
So there's a couple of things. First off, the scores for Star Wars have always been great. Yeah. But I really appreciate, between Andor and now the Shikari, getting actual music in Star Wars that's not just jizz.
Yeah, it's not just soundtrack.
Nothing wrong with that, but yeah, but
it's immersive.
Has some yeah, I really appreciate that. But beyond that, individual things from the movie that I really liked. I really enjoyed seeing the old targeting computer from New Hope. That was a lot of fun. Although I'll get to this a little bit later, but there's one thing that I was very disappointed in that, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah, we're gonna get to we're gonna show the love first, and then we'll get into our criticisms here in a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know we've discussed on this podcast before. My man Embo.
Oh,
I've loved that character since the beginning. Yeah. And so great to see him.
And you want to root for him. You want to root for him, but it's like, oh man, you're going against our boys, man. It's like, I'm conflicted.
Yeah. So that was great. Getting to see Zeb, obviously that's great too. I feel like they could have done a little, like for both him and Embo. It might have been helpful if they spent a little bit of time giving a little bit of backstory on them for people that aren't familiar, but it wasn't necessary. And as somebody who is familiar with them, I was very happy to just jump in and say, okay, we got these characters, we're right. Getting to see Baby Yoda kind of have his independence moment where he's got to take care of things because Din's taken out was brilliant and a lot of fun. Seeing him with the little Babu Frick and his buddies running around,
right? Making the Yoda hut. How cool was that? Making the Yoda hut and then the head bonking. It's like, come on, man, that was
get in there,
right? It's like, get in there, go.
Donk.
Bonk.
Donk.
It was so good. It was so good.
Yeah, definitely a lot of fun, a lot of great stuff in there. Again, like outside of the Death of the Twins, is there a lot of world defining things? No, but there doesn't have to be. That's not what it needed. It told its story, it did its job, and that's all I wanted it to do. So going into it like that, I mean, like you said, Tim, perfect popcorn movie. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy. And don't get me wrong. I've said multiple times. I love Andor. I love the seriousness of it, the kind of dark aspects of it. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with having something where you can just sit back and enjoy. Don't take it too seriously, and just have a good time.
Amen.
So,
brother.
all the thoughts of that.
And we've got Derpy in the chat. Derpy 501st too, with the jokes. I find your lack of dance skills disturbing. Look, man, it's been a while since I've played the game. And then he says, like a bantha. That's how Bobo was doing it. Like a bantha. All right, welcome to the chat, Derpy. That's funny. Someone had said I saw this online. I need to go watch it again anyway. But someone said that you could see Hera in the background. I completely missed it. I didn't see her, if she is actually there, or if it was another Twi'lek. I don't know. But someone said you could see Hera somewhere in the background during the hangar scenes. So I don't know. I'm going to go probably tomorrow to see it again, and I will be. And my wife, she was like, "Why are you going to go again? Just wait for it to come out." It's like, no. I watched it the first time for the fun and the pleasure. Now I'm going back a second time to dissect it and take notes and look for all of the other little deep cuts and Easter eggs that I missed the first time. So, exactly. And if Hera is in there, and Tony, like you said, you would have liked for Zeb to get a little bit more. I promise you, because we all know how Dave is, there is going to be a live action Ghost Crew movie. It's going to happen. Travis, how's it going? Welcome. Derpy says, I genuinely believe the hate this movie is getting makes me question being a Star Wars fan, and the people who hate it are genuinely miserable people. I think everybody here on the show agrees with you 100%, Derpy, but one thing, you know what? And that's why we're here. That's why we're doing Safe Space, because when you said it makes me question being a Star Wars fan, none of us should ever feel that way. We should be fans with our whole chest, because these people that are constantly shitting on the franchise and looking for every single reason to shit on it, they're not fans. Because when all I do is spend my time looking for things to hate about a franchise, how is that being a fan? We're about to go into talking about what we didn't like about the show or about the movie. Of course, there's things about the movie we didn't like. Every single Star Wars project has had its missteps and its flaws. Every single one, except Skeleton Crew. But every single one has had its flaws, and you could sit there and you could pick it apart if you want to. But why? Yeah, Derpy, the nerd around. Yeah, we normally don't even mention them by name. We know who they are. We know who the fandom menace, who they are, but we don't do that. Travis is over here talking about on Easter eggs, the Martin Scorsese's Hugo is not only the same species as Rio from Solo, but their last name is Durant, implying they're brothers. Rio mentioned opening restaurant, so it makes sense. Come on. I missed that. See, that's what I'm talking about. So good. So again, Tony, I promise you, we are going to get a live action Ghost Crew. It's going to be a Rebels reunion. It's going to be in live action. We're just testing the waters with Zeb. Derby says he apologizes for the last comment. Please don't apologize. Please don't ever apologize. Say what you need to say, please. And thanks for the sub. I appreciate that. So we're going to get it, Tony. We're going to get that live action. I hope it happens before I die, but it's going to happen. Now that Dave is at the helm, forget it. It's going to happen. And somebody else was complaining about how he wants to put Ahsoka in everything. He wanted to put Ahsoka in the Mandalorian and Grogu as well, but I guess someone talked him down from that ledge. And my response to that is, he is one of us. He grew up, he is a fan first. He grew up playing with the toys, watching the movies. He was sitting on his floor in his bedroom with the action figures, going crazy, right? And now he gets to play with life-size action figures, and Ahsoka is his. That's his creation. Who knows? I mean, when he was a kid, he may have come up with her then. But, he's born from a sketch and idea. It's one of his favorite characters. Wolf is probably, number 2, if not number 1. And of course, he's going to want to put Ahsoka in everything. And I'm not mad about it. Derpy says, I've seen so many memes already with the Shikari theme. It's a banger. Maybe one day we'll get Old Republic. Hopefully, we tried High Republic, but people wanted to take a dump on the High Republic there. But hopefully we'll be seeing that again sometime soon. Travis adds a sad layer to the film, like they were planning to have a restaurant, but one died, so a food cart is the best they can do. Feels like the barren space. I like that. All right. Yeah, I can't believe there's Filoni haters. I don't know how you can hate on Filoni. The guy he's the next best thing to George. I mean, he gets George. I mean, he's like George Jr. I mean, basically. So Crash, you're up, man. Tell us about it. Tell us your thoughts, your feelings.
Well, I kind of did the reverse of you. I went to the early screenings on Thursday with my sister Snips, just the two of us in a semi-empty theater, and we picked it. I was watching it for every little detail the first time through. How much I wanted to get as many Easter eggs, any references Dave was throwing at us, and he didn't disappoint. That was the beauty of it. For me, the thing I was really most impressed with, earlier this week, I redid my No Bucks, No Buck Rogers video about budgets. I know you don't think it was spicy enough, so I spiced it up and went out and bought a Burger King value meal to kind of a metaphor for like the budgets versus the turnout. And it really kind of made sense that the chicken fries, the tiny little box of chicken fries, is like the Mandalorian Grogu, because it has the smaller budget. It had to be a condensed, Favreau said they reworked a lot of this. It's not a literal translation of it. A lot of fans online are trying to like pick it apart. Like this would be 6 episodes of the show.
No.
Movies are different animals. Movies are more creative, flowing process. It evolves into what it becomes. People like to think, oh, you just take the draft of a script, literally translate. Like you said about the quote from Filoni and Favreau about the TV shows. You got to bang out episodes. Yeah. Really, with a movie, you could take a couple of years, whatever time frame you have, and really craft it. And I think this was a well-crafted movie. It was based off of a Disney Plus series, but it was a movie, and it reminded us why we love Star Wars, because it was so good. And I think the thing that impressed me most were the Easter eggs I didn't know I wanted. Like, I don't know if we got the slide of Rod of the Hutt. I was like, how are they going to, Stinkies in this movie? Okay, what are we going to have, a fighting Hutt? Okay, how's that going to work? And
wait, let me pull that up.
And he just, this guy's a rock star. And you don't, I feel guilty about missing leg day, even if he doesn't have legs.
He hit tail day. Hey, just real quick. We're gonna get back to that. Derpy said, let's take a moment of silence for Marshall Lucas, who sadly passed away today.
Oh no!
What?
Oh man!
That was George Lucas's first wife, right?
Right.
And I think she edited.
She
edited Star Wars and
a lot of other movies for that whole, that whole collaborative collective they had. She was a big influence on them early on.
Oh man!
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, let's do that. Let's do that, guys. Let's pause for a moment of silence for Marcia. All right. Well, may she rest in the Force. She, like Yoda says, do not grieve. They're now one with the Force. So she was 80 years old. Oh man.
Yeah. And kind of, I don't want to segue from that, but just I thought Rada was such a great character in that we've sort of been stereotyping species by like how we first meet them.
Right.
Tuskens were bad guys because they attacked Luke and in the first movie, so they must be bad. And then you find out later, well, actually, they're a really good metaphor for Native Americans, and there's a lot to be said that maybe we, the settlers, are the bad guys. Yeah. With Rada, it was this whole idea that you think, oh, he's a slave, he's just in this fight pit. How poor, Stinky. He wants to be there because he doesn't want to be thought of like his dad.
Right.
I wasn't born to be a crime lord. I want to be my own man. I thought that was a great message for a movie in a franchise that's sort of a lesson for kids, that you're not trapped by the sins of your parents.
Right. And people were mad about Rhoda and the twins speaking basic. It's like, who cares? Zero spoke basic, and that was awful.
Our boy from Skeleton Crew.
Yeah.
Anybody wants to fight him I'll fight you in the street.
I mean, who cares? I mean, if they speak basic, so what? I mean, they can. I mean, we see Ithorians, they have, their mechanisms, but they're speaking basic. We've had some Rhodians speak basic. So it's like, who cares? Honestly, give me basic anyway, because I don't want to sit. I want to look at the movie. It's not a French film. I'm not here for an art house movie. I don't want to read subtitles all night. So I'm perfectly fine. I'm perfectly fine with that.
And the other person I was really impressed with in this movie, and no doubt, the rebel pilot in me creeping here, Sigourney Weaver just killed it as Colonel Ward. Can you pull that one up?
Oh yeah. And speaking of Rhoda, Travis says, with Rhoda in the New Republic and heir to the Hutt space, he says, I feel like he's going to hear the Jedi who saved him is missing, and goes to help find her. Wouldn't that be something? If he goes looking for Ahsoka and she meets him and calls him little Stinky? Oh, that would be great.
But Sigourney Weaver, this is sci-fi royalty before the day she walked on set. Aliens, Galaxy Quest, Avatar, and now she gets to play, I'm sorry, the greatest job in Star Wars, a rebel pilot.
Right. And everybody, it's funny because we were my wife and I were rewatching the Mandalorian series, just to get refreshed. And it's so funny because we're seeing all of these high profile celebrity cameos throughout the entire Mandalorian series, season 1 through 3, and Book of Boba Fett, so season 2.5. And it was we just kept saying, man, everyone wants to be in Star Wars. Yeah. Yeah, everyone wants to be in Star Wars because it's fun. Derby says easiest 150 to 200,000 Sigourney Weaver ever had to make with only 10 minutes of screen time. She probably would have done it for free. It's probably her agent that made her take the money. And Derpy, come on, man, you're bringing us down. Derpy says it's going to be a rough day when George, Harrison, and Mark go. Fans don't want to hear it, but they're getting up there. Come on, Derpy. I mean, yes, we know, but oh man. But yeah, Sigourney, she nailed it. Someone else online was like, "Oh, what's up with this? A 70-year-old fighter pilot?" It's like, dude, shut up.
And she even said in some of the press for this movie, her age is an asset because she is literally of that era of the rebellion that we can show because Carrie's gone. We don't have that icon of the rebellion like Carrie anymore. So there were other people that were fighting in the rebellion of the same age that are in the New Republic. and to get an actor or actress of Sigourney Weaver's caliber to, for a not cameo role, but it's a smaller role. She doesn't have to carry the picture. And it's like, okay, that adds a little bit of gravitas to the whole thing, because she's no joke. I hope she comes to Celebration next year. I'd love to meet her.
It was great. I mean, I don't know. I thought she was great in it. I thought she was great in it. I mean, for what she was supposed to do, what she was supposed to do.
Right here.
You got the Black Series? You got her already?
Oh, yeah, as soon as it came out.
Jeez, I don't even have my wall set up. I've still got tons of stuff to unbox. Speaking of that, look for it coming soon. I finally, after 5 years, did the unboxing for the life-size Sideshow Grogu. Well, this is the child, so this came out before we knew that his name was Grogu. So, and I finally got around to doing the unboxing because I wanted to take him with me to the movie. That was the only thing that motivated me to do it. So,
I saw your video with the super loud kid in the background. How did the backpack work out?
Fine. I wore it like a little papoose in the front. I put some Greeblies on it, weathered it up. Just a quick 10-minute weathering job, but yeah, it was great. I'm walking through the theater. There was a group there. I don't know if they were 501st or not, but there was a costume group there. And there was a really, really good Din Djarin, who was there as well. And he had a nice life-size Grogu with him as well. So, yeah, I'm geeking out, man. I'm geeking out. It's just, I had so much fun, and it's like, I don't even know where so Crash, what else you got in terms of what did you like? What was, the Easter egg that jumped out at you? Well, what was it that really drove it home for you?
One of the things that really drove home for me was the fact that we get to see, there was a whole sequence where the lead character is the puppet of Grogu, because Din's down. And I was really impressed with the fact that this puppet is so detailed, and Frank Oz would be proud at what they can do to these guys. He carries the movie for 20 minutes by himself, and he's adorable in the process.
Yeah, I agree. Derpy mentioned something, and you know what? We'll use this as the segue to transition into the dark side. So the opening scene of the movie with the Walker and Mando with Grogu, the first thing I thought of was one word: merchandising. Yes, you are not wrong, because it got me, because I got the stupid popcorn bucket too, the AT-AT popcorn bucket. I need this $70 stupid popcorn bucket that I'll never use? No, but it was there.
I got the $40 Grogu one from my mom. She loves Baby Yoda, so yeah, I had this giant tub of popcorn. I'm shoveling it, and I'm the bucket's for Mom. It's sitting downstairs. It's like a permanent fixture in the living room.
I got the $50 Mando helmet, so
Yeah, see, we all the merchandising gets all of us. For the boys, thanks for joining us. He said, I genuinely enjoyed it. I didn't do any lore expansion. It didn't do any lore expansion. That's okay. For the boys, you just missed it. We just talked about it. There was lore expansion. We won't do the whole thing again, but Hutt's dying, power vacuum, rise of Kanji Club. Go back, and once we're done with the live, go back and watch. It was early on. So there is some lore. Expansion potentially. So, see, now we're getting into, now Derpy is going off. So you're telling me Pizza the Hutt's relatives are villains. Now we're going off. Now we're going into Spaceballs territory. Next time, Pizza's going to send out for you. Okay. Enough of that. So speaking of the opening sequence, this is one of three gripes that I have about the movie. Only three. There was that, and then they all over the internet, they released the first 10 minutes of the film. That opening sequence was so good. It was so good. I wished I would have experienced it for the first time there. I could have avoided every trailer. I could have avoided the first 10-minute glimpse. That's on me. But I do wish that with trailers these days, they would give us a little less of what we're going to see. I can only imagine for folks that hadn't seen that scene, seeing it for the very first time, because it was the most swarzy thing that I've ever seen. It was the most Mandalorian thing. And as a Mandalorian, seeing Din just be a complete fucking wrecking machine was amazing. And I wish I would have seen it like first off, but still, it's like nothing away. But
it was great because it was like an opening sequence of a James Bond movie. It's completely untied to the full story. But they literally just say, okay, here's 10 minutes of Bond just kicking ass.
Going down the mountain, just,
it's like, hang on, little buddy.
Busting up the arms deal scene. It's just unadulterated popcorn fun. And that is what this movie is and will always be. And it's great.
Yep. Derby says the text and title with the intro with the X-Wings, with the sun, very Top Gun.
Extremely Top Gun,
very Top Gun. I was getting like China Beach vibes as well. You know, for those of you who are familiar with that, that's a deep cut. But So there was that.
A reminder to go take my Advil for my lower back, but thank you.
But hey, you can think about Dana Delaney while you're doing it, because that was indeed. So there was that. That was, again, that's just the industry. The industry does that with trailers now. I would have liked to see, this is not a gripe, this is just like a wish list thing. I would have liked to have seen maybe a Grief Karga memorial statue. That would have been nice. When Din went to Navarro, I feel like that's a bit of a missed opportunity, because obviously Carl Weathers did pass. It's not necessary, but I think, if they come out with a special edition, just walk by, pat the statue on the foot or something.
There was some nice Easter egg. I don't know if you caught it. This was another site picked this up. Some of the Arabish on the door of where the Jarek creatures come out. It was something. Weathers Apollo was how it translated. And that is direct. So I'm glad. I'll be honest. I'm glad they didn't do the statue, because they did. It's like you don't do the same gag like they did with IG-11.
I get it. Okay, that's fair.
But the fact that they were very aware of Carl and his legacy, and I thought that was a nice touch. As someone who doesn't speak Arabic, I was like, "That's cute." I'll applaud that.
All right, well,
because I didn't realize that, so that's nice. That's a nice touch.
Yeah, that's not, and calling back to the Rocky era, that was nice. For the boy says, I hope we see more of Rada in more future post Rot J stories. Hell yes. He's gonna show up in the next Dave Filoni Rebels reunion movie. I'm telling you, he's gonna be there. So my other final gripe, and this is something that I've had a problem with The Mandalorian since season 2. Din Djarin, can you please seal your fucking helmet? Please. Come on, my guy. That is Bush League. That is Bush League. In season 1, I get him, making some rookie mistakes like that. Okay, sure. But in the series, he almost drowns twice. And then now he gets gassed out? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Come on, or at least give me a reason. Give me a reason why Din Djarin is not sealing his helmet, because when it comes off remarkably easily, which it shouldn't, but when it comes off, you hear it. You hear a seal breaking. In season 2, when they put the helmet on Ragnar, somehow it seals perfectly around all of his beautiful hair. You hear the seal. So Bo had her seal on, and so did oh my god, what's her name? Bo's partner in crime. Koska, right? Yes. Yeah. Koska, yes. I mean, she dove right in to get Grogu out of that that little watery grave that he was in. So it's like, Din, come on. That's like, but that's it. Those are more me problems than film problems. There were some pacing issues and there was some dialogue, some clunky dialogue, but that's Star Wars. Star Wars is full of
I was going to say, what's a Star Wars movie without some clunky dialogue?
Yeah, exactly. All right. So since we're doing the dark side of things here, Tim, what you got on the dark side of, we love the movie. Movie was great. Flaws that you're seeing.
So I didn't actually have a ton of flaws. there weren't a ton of things that I went, God, I hate this about this movie. There's a couple things I didn't like, and some things that I'll live with. How about that? So when I go see a Star Wars movie, one thing that I want in every movie is the opening crawl. I want the music. I want the crawl.
Oh, yeah.
I desperately look forward to that. It's a callback to my own childhood and watching the original trilogy over and over and over again. There was always a crawl. So although it's kind of cool in some of the movies to not have a crawl, I want Star Wars movies, Star Wars adjacent movies even, to have an opening crawl. So that's a minor thing. I'll live with it.
And Davis said they're actually reserving that for the Skywalker saga.
So the saga films will probably get
Saga
there.
Right.
films are the only ones that are going to have the angled crawl.
Yeah, I get it.
But you notice like a lot of shows like Ahsoka, even Solo has, there's always a little text at the beginning, and they've all done it a certain way. Something, but not the angled yellow letters like we know.
Yeah.
But Tim, let me ask you this, because you do bring up when we're talking about nostalgia.
Yeah.
When the switch was made to Disney, do you find yourself missing the 20th Century Fox opening?
No.
You know, the fanfare and then like the Lucasfilm. No, that's not
that doesn't really matter to me, because it really the movie didn't start to me until the crawl.
The crawl. Okay,
crawl
that's fair.
was the most important thing. So
That's fair.
I understand your point, and that makes total sense to me.
Sure.
And now that you mention it, now I'm probably going to miss it, and I'll hate you for that. But just for my own thing, it's always been the crawl, and so that's always been kind of my thing. The other thing that I didn't like, but what's one of the things I love about Star Wars is when you have friends and whether they're your lifelong friends or your podcast friends, and you sit down and you talk with them about the things that you went and got to see at the theater. And I was so excited about the movie, and I was talking to my buddy who had just got done watching it, and I said, but one of the things I hated was that Rada didn't speak Huttese, and that he didn't have the same, and he's like, well, why would he? I'm like, what do you mean? He's a Hutt. Why wouldn't he? And I think, we talked about this earlier. You would have certain expectations with certain species, so he's a Hutt, so he has to sound like this.
Right.
And he's like, he grew up away from the Hutts. He was raised in a different format, in a different area. Why would he sound like the rest of the Hutts and have that different cadence and speech and, accent and all those things? And I was like, damn it, I hate it that you're right.
And don't forget that Zero, we a lot of people, we don't like the execution. We know that's not a very popular character, but he spoke basic too. It's an understandable change. Yeah. Especially again, like you said, Zero, I have a feeling grew up on Coruscant away from Nalhada. So maybe like Hera, the French accent goes away when she's not at home.
I was going to say he grew up down in the swamps of Louisiana, that part of Coruscant.
Yeah.
So,
he hung out in southern Coruscant.
Oh man, yeah, Zero. Thanks for that mind wipe. But yeah, no, those were the only things that I didn't like about the movie, is that I didn't really I missed the crawl. I missed that. And I wanted to see. Okay, so it was mentioned earlier that it was cool to see Grogu kind of holding his own for 20 minutes and kind of doing his thing and protecting Mando and building the Yoda hut and all these different things. And for the most part, spot on. I get all of that.
Right.
The only thing I don't like about it is that we had this scene of him like getting ready for battle. I mean, he's putting on grenades, he's putting on his belt, he's doing all these things, and I'm like, all right, we're gonna about to see little man kick some butt. I was kind of disappointed that there wasn't a payoff to that scene.
Right.
I wanted to see a little bit of action from Grogu and see him use his force powers for more than okay, hey baby, do the magic hand wave.
Magic thing, magic hand thing.
But other than that, those were my only real complaints about the movie. I wanted to see more action out of Grogu. I wanted to see more screen time with Zeb, and I wanted a crawl. And I rescinded my annoyance of Rada speaking basic and that where I could understand him. So, yeah, that was really about it. Otherwise, it's just a fun movie, and I feel bad that I don't have really anything to complain about.
No, that's a good thing. That's a good problem to have.
I mean, it's no Rise of Skywalker for my level of complaints, but that's a whole nother complaint for a whole nother time.
That's a whole other episode. Like, we could do a series. We could anyway.
But I had to have silver linings for that movie, but still.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. And that's, and that's a really good point too, Tim. That's a good point, because as much as we can bag on all of the Star Wars films, there's a very specific scene in A New Hope that I always bag on every single time I see it. It's been through so many different special editions and updates, and I will never know why they left this in, but there is a scene in the meeting room on the Death Star when Vader and Tarkin are talking about how Leia resisted the mind probe and all that, and the torture. And Vader stops talking, but his hand is he's still gesturing. Like, but there's no sound, so the editing on that.
Vader's Italian.
Did you not know he's Italian? Hey, we're gonna do some torture.
It's like I told you, she would never break. But do you want to listen? No, you don't want to listen.
Do you listen to me? No, you don't.
So, but yes, we can always find problems. These are science fantasy movies. The only thing that makes them not B movies is their budget and the level of special effects. But I mean, really, if you think about it, these are very corny. They're space wizards with laser samurai swords and cowboys fighting Nazis in space. I mean, that's exactly what these movies are. But it's like, but why pick them apart? Like you said, every single, even the holiday special, everything has a silver lining. Every single Star Wars project, it has its flaws, but they have its silver lining. So Tim, yes, that is a great point. One thing I did want to bring up though too, I like flat caps. I like these. I specifically get my flat caps from Boston Scally. Not a sponsor, but could be. I don't know. Boston Scally. If you haven't seen The Mandalorian Grogu, do it now, because I was so happy to see in the crowd, there were people in the crowd wearing flat caps, and they had like little lights on the side. And the only other time we've seen that was in Mandalorian season 2 it was Book of Boba. When Mandalorian goes into that meatpacking plant, and some of the guys working in the meatpacking plant, a couple of them had flat caps, but they were more like Baker Boy, Peaky Blinder type caps. But the guys, on Shikari, they were wearing more like Boston Scally type caps. So Boston Scally, if you're listening, and I know you do watch the show, if you don't work out some kind of a deal with Disney, Lucasfilm, or whoever, you're missing out, because I'll buy every colorway that you produce. It's got to have little lights, got to be screen accurate. Because when I'm in costume, I like to wear hats. But if I'm in costume for one of the clubs, usually there's no hats. But there are now. Yeah. Anyway.
I'd wear it.
Yeah, I'd rock it. So Crash, what are your gripes, if any?
Well, I actually don't have too much to gripe about. This was a really good movie for me. Before we run out of time, I do want to do a quick shout out to some of our Star Wars Safe Space friends.
We're not running out of time. We're just going to keep going, man. This will be a long one.
They shared some of their pictures from their
did they?
experience with us.
All right, let's put them up. Let's put them up.
Here's our buddy Dylan Flex Carter. He was rocking his own Mando costume. He's with a friend.
Oh, nice.
Shots. Next up, we got Eli Harris.
Hey.
He just joined the page a couple days ago.
Eli, welcome.
Welcome to the Safe Space. Got the mug.
Yeah.
Awesome.
The merchandising, man.
Merchandising.
I want to make sure I say this right. Hawks Kiotos is his screen name.
Okay, that's his Mando name.
That's his Mando name. And again, rocking his gear at the movies.
That's a good looking kit,
isn't it? I like that.
That's a good looking.
He's been replying in our comments, and then all of a sudden I see him in costume, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's a good looking kit.
These are some of my old buddies from Endor Base and Rebel Legion. KD on the left, Matt and Dale Tolosa in the center. I don't know the dude on the right, but he is apparently the ruler of Mandalore.
Yeah, he's got the Darksaber.
And this is girl's named Sarah Spector. She's from the Pittsburgh area, and again, she's just got a little casual cosplay, having fun at the movie theater.
Love
And
it.
this is what I loved about this movie is that it, after 7 years of the internet saying Star Wars is dead, Star Wars is dead, you put out a fun popcorn Star Wars movie, and the people came out in droves, and they had a good time.
Yeah. And
Okay, I now have another complaint.
uh-oh.
Yeah.
Nobody at my theater dressed up cool like that. And I'm now pissed.
I went at 2:00 in the afternoon on a Thursday, so it was not. It was casual.
But I mean, Tim,
Yeah,
if
I went
not
10
you,
o'clock in the morning. So
if not you, then who? I mean, you are responsible for the cosplay situation in your area. You and you alone, my friend.
I cosplayed as a podcaster reviewing the movie.
Fair. That's fair.
So that was my cosplay.
All right, that's fair. I just wore merch. I wore that hoodie from Her Universe and a pair of really nice Mandalorian joggers from Super X Athletic Wear because I am so athletic.
I was wearing I wore a Baby Yoda coffee t-shirt.
That's what I'm seeing. And I had and underneath my hoodie, I had it was something my kids got for me for Father's Day a couple years ago. It's Mandalorian and Grogu and it says best dad ever. So I was like, man, my kids know me. My kids know me. That's cool. The Oni, gripes, if any, flaws, problems.
So, not a flaw, a minor gripe. I feel a missed opportunity.
Okay.
Honestly, I feel like Sigourney Weaver was underutilized.
Oh, okay.
And I think she did a great job. Don't get me wrong, but like, you're gonna get a name like that, and she doesn't really do a whole lot. And I mean, it's all fine. Like, I don't have a problem with it per se, but, and I mentioned this in my likes where, they had the targeting sequence, from New Hope, and I really did like that. But I do wish that it was her taking that shot instead of the guy that did. And I wish that she had also, turned off the thing because I'm recasting this a little bit here just to kind of emphasize the drama. Like, I really wish she'd gotten super up close and personal, to the point where she could see the twins chasing them down the hallway, and she took the shot and kind of did a real take on her line from Alien and be like, get the fuck away from them.
Oh,
if they'd have given her that line,
I'm telling you, there's
for this movie, it would have blown up.
knowing the boys the way that we do, I'm sure there is some sort of Alien reference or Ghostbuster reference in there somewhere. We just haven't found it yet.
I'm sure there is. I'm just saying, like that line in particular.
Yeah.
Come on, it was right there.
Well, she did that in Paul. They literally did a callback to that line in that movie. So maybe a little hesitation for making it too cliche.
I get it.
The line that I would love to have seen her use, Tony, is I say we take off and nuke it from orbit.
Oh,
that's the line I was hoping she was going to use.
Yeah. So a couple missed opportunities.
That would be a great line. Yeah.
But
literally, that's the only gripe I have is that they could have played that up a little bit.
That's fair.
Just for the fan service part of it. I think it would have been fun. But it's not a complaint, just that would have been nice.
So I think the general consensus is we don't have any major complaints. We have, some me problem type of things, but, and normal Star Wars stuff that happens in every Star Wars project. So other than that, it's, it's not bad. Tony, you've got some box office totals for us as of today. And we've also got some Rotten Tomato scores and Mandalorian Grogu, despite all of the hate. Currently, as of today, rocking at 88%. So it's currently, according to Rotten Tomatoes, which, take that with a grain of salt. Out of all 13 Star Wars films, it is currently number 4 on the list. And
so one thing here, and if you have the one that I sent you, so what you're looking at here, where it says 88%, that's the popcorn meter. That's the fans rate, which is pretty significantly different in this case from the critic rate.
What's the critical one? I don't have my email.
I think it was in the 60s.
Question for the class.
Yes, in the back row.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. How the hell is Rise of Skywalker at number 6, but
Yeah.
Last Jedi's at number 12?
Yeah. See, I would have expected Solo to be a little bit, not Solo, but Rogue One to be up there higher. But
Well, let's not forget, Last Jedi got targeted by a certain YouTuber and the Phantom Menace guy. Yeah, so that audience score is as low as it is because they were already on a mission to, destroy the sequel trilogy. Make Disney pay for ruining their childhood. That's like the comparison that was making.
Yeah.
They were making for this movie was that even its box office numbers were barely on par with Solo, and you leave out the fact that we live in a very different world post-COVID, and people can argue all they want about was COVID a real thing or not. For movie theaters, it was,
right.
And
extremely real for the theater industry,
and especially in this age of streaming. I know a lot of people that are saying, "Well, I might go see it once and then I'll see it on streaming."
Right.
Why I saw articles making arguments that Star Wars is dead. I pulled up a screenshot of one.
Yeah, let me pull that up. And Travis says when Mando brought in the Imperial, and then she says, Sigourney Weaver, she says the Hutts are pissed. I almost thought she would fire Mando for putting the New Republic in danger. Would have added stakes to it. Yeah, that's a fair point. That is a fair point. I don't know. I just don't want to see Din get banished from anything else anymore. I mean, that man, he's already gone through a lot. He doesn't need to get fired from his only other job.
After the James Bond opening sequence, she described it as messy. So there's already a little bit of. Yes. Would the New Republic prefer these things to be handled cleaner? Sure, but it's just sometimes they don't. This is a great article. I don't know who this idiot is, but the headline kind of said Mando Grogu's proof Disney has effectively killed Star Wars, and then you look at the very first line. Let me begin by saying I have not seen the Mandalorian Grogu. Shut the fuck up.
So then how?
What website is this? Just so I can know who to hate.
It's some guy named Jerry Thornton.
But who's he writing for?
I'm not sure. I got to look it up. That this has been making the rounds because it's like talk about saying the quiet part out loud. Where
horrible lead
the internet hate machine, and there are sites that literally talk about how they monetize this by feeding angry fans this idea that Star Wars is dead. When look at what the audience score that Tony pulled up, and look what the results even on our comments on our page. There are very few people
overwhelmingly positive.
Gripes.
Overwhelmingly positive.
Overwhelmingly positive. People just enjoyed the experience and they want more.
Just like with Skeleton Crew.
Oh, that's why. Found it. Okay.
What? Where's it from?
It's on Barstool Sports, which automatically knocks it down about 150 IQ points.
Yeah, that doesn't count. But
and then the lead-in sentence adds another 25 to the negative. So
we don't. But we are going to use this to segue into our next bit. But no, fuck those guys, man. Those guys are the worst. Barstool Sports. But like with Skeleton Crew. When that came out and it was getting negative reviews again before it even came out. I posted a video and I said the only critics I will listen to are those who are like 20 and younger, maybe 12 and under, because it's like, especially for Skeleton Crew, because if you're an adult, there's stuff in there for you, but it's not for you. I like, especially some dude bro from Barstool Sports. Your opinion means absolutely nothing because you haven't seen it. But even when or if you do see it, you'll probably come back and you're going to have to double down. You can't say you were wrong. So you're going to come back and say, oh yeah, it was even worse than what I wrote about before I saw it and blah, blah, blah. Shut the fuck up. Just leave it alone. Yeah. Leave it alone. So these are the box office totals. This is what we're looking at, Tony.
Yeah, so on here you've got all 12 movies that have released, released to the theaters at least. You've got the lifetime gross, the domestic opening, release date, tomato critic score, popcorn fan score, and then the last column here is just a spread, but just the difference between those two numbers.
Okay.
So, like, if you look at this, so right now, Mandalorian Grogu is number 7 on the list right now. Opening weekend, domestically, about $81 million. If you factor in the international, that's going to add like another 60 something to it.
Right.
And I honestly think the best comparable you can compare this movie to on this list is going to be Solo, because it's the one of the movie that's not part of the main line.
Right.
And you know what? You know what's interesting is,
like Rogue One, you could say it's kind of like it ties in, but it's just
yeah,
it's a Star Wars story.
One thing I will say
a
here
Star
is
Wars movie.
right.
Yeah.
So I think it needs to make like about 300 million for it to,
the site
make
did
the
not
money
say
back.
whether or not.
Oops, wrong one. Sorry, I'm pushing the wrong buttons.
That's my job.
You're fine. Now, I don't know whether or not these numbers have been adjusted for inflation. I looked everywhere on the site and it did not specify. Considering if you look at the domestic opening weekend for episode 5, I'm guessing it hasn't been adjusted for inflation. But again, I don't know that, and I'm not going to make that assumption. That being said, in 1 week, Mandalorian Grogu's made over half of what Solo made in its entire run.
Right. So it'll get up there.
Good.
So
good thing it sucks.
It's gonna make. Yeah. Like it's gonna get.
And that was the thing. Go ahead,
Tony. You're cutting out.
It does fascinate me. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
In particular, the spread for 8 and 9 between critics and fans, like that's just crazy to me. I'm curious to see whether or not for Mando and Grogu that number kind of bounces out a little bit more, because that number's pretty way off too. But we'll see.
We'll see. I think I like the crown, Tim. I like the Grogu crown. Very nice. Crash, I think you have one as well, don't you, somewhere?
Yeah, I'm looking for it. Here we go. So,
all right. Everybody got the Grogu. I need to go to Burger King, apparently.
I got a Mando one, too. It's just off camera.
Oh.
But, and this was interesting. When I was crunching numbers for that No Buck Rogers video, Andor, the 2 seasons combined, had a budget of $705 million. Whew. That is a record for any Star Wars project. And again, as I said in the video, they put out great content.
Sure.
2 seasons, 16 hours of great storytelling. And you better, because Mickey Mouse cut you a check for $705 million. Whereas the budget for Mando and Grogu, the movie, was $165 million. And that was to take, like we said, a TV series that is usually very on budget, on time, and rework it where you can kind of mold it like clay, like a statue and artwork into what you want it to be. You can take the time and really formulate a story, which Jon Favreau does. He does so well. And
they'll make their money back.
They already did. It was their first weekend. They made $163 million.
But I think now
you're playing with house money from here on out.
Well, I think there's more to it than that. Like with the film industry. So in order for it to be considered a financial success by the studio, it needs to make there's a percentage more that it needs to make back, including what was spent on marketing. But the interesting thing is they didn't do a whole lot of marketing. And I think that was on purpose, because they knew that the more money they put into marketing didn't necessarily mean that they were going to see that return in the box office, because they did that with Solo. There was a shit ton of marketing for Solo, a shit ton, but people were complaining online how there was so little marketing for The Mandalorian and Grogu. I think that was a very wise choice by the studio, because they were able to kind of foresee, we're still living in a streaming culture. You're going to have, the ones that go out to see it in theaters, they're going to be new fans, casual fans, or hardcore fans. But the majority of people, they're just going to wait until it comes out on Disney Plus.
And it's interesting, too, that you made the comparison to Solo, because Solo did a ton of advertising up front, but had very little merchandise.
Yes.
This is the exact opposite. They're going to make their money back on the merchandise.
The merchandising.
The merchandising. And that's where they're going to make their money back.
Yeah. And don't forget, Solo also had a very large budget, because they had to fire their first directors, Chris Lord and Miller, whatever his name, because they were idiots and they couldn't figure out how to work with live actors instead of animation. So you've already doubled your. Ron Howard came in and they basically had to reshoot almost the entire movie. So their budget imploded, and then whatever box office they brought in couldn't recover. That's what killed The Acolyte. It wasn't DEI, the woke Star Wars. No. It was an expensive show to make.
Right. And hopefully, I know that they're kicking around the idea of a possible season 2. I know that it's out there, and I think Crash, I agree. I think it's going to come down to budget. I think everything comes down to budget. But I think that with enough fan support, and I think there is going to be enough fan support because you've got people revisiting The Acolyte all the time and coming back, or visiting it for the first time because they heard so much shit about it and they're like, I'm not going to watch it. But then, it was popping up on Disney Plus, coming up, in your, suggested for you queue after you watch them all. So, and people are either revisiting or visiting it for the first time, and they're coming back and they're like, yeah, this didn't deserve all that hate.
One of the things I'm loving right now is out on Threads. That's where Threads and Instagram is where I spend most of my time. By the way, you'll find me at PCA Pod Show there. Sorry, shameless plug. Anyway, but one of the things that I have enjoyed the most is seeing people who are getting into Star Wars and going, and they're watching The Acolyte and they're like, I don't understand why the show got canceled.
Yeah.
We're like, nobody does.
Nobody does.
Except for the grifters who are out there and, worried that, that was made by, it was a show made and written by a woman and it had a woman in the lead and I'm a boy and I need to have boy things.
Yeah. I'm a straight white dude and I need everyone on screen to be a straight white dude too. Or someone in a metal bikini. That's the only thing that's going to do it for me.
The tide is starting to turn on that.
Yeah.
If anybody going to Rebel Scum Con in Texas, please send us pictures. They've got like Daphne Keegan, the guy who plays Yord.
Yeah.
The guy who played Torben, Jonas, Kalnaka. Almost all the cast from that show are starting to make the rounds of conventions because fans are telling promoters
it's picking up steam.
We want new Star Wars. We want to meet these. The whole. They just dropped half the cast from Shadow Lord, and it's my God.
And
I can't wait for Celebration next year. There's going to be so much new blood, both in the crowd and on stage. It's going to be great.
I don't think the grifters' days are numbered because they'll always be around. They've always been around, but I think that our voices are starting to get louder. We're a little late to the party, but I think our voices, because we have to be as loud as they are or louder. So speaking of the death of Star Wars, Mandalorian Grogu is proof Disney has effectively killed Star Wars. That was from Jerry Thornton, hack journalist for Barstool Sports. Let's talk about the death of Star Wars, shall we? The Ewoks killed Star Wars. The special editions killed Star Wars. Midichlorians killed Star Wars. Jar Jar Binks killed Star Wars. Hayden Christensen killed Star Wars. The Clone Wars movie killed Star Wars. Disney killed Star Wars. Kathleen Kennedy killed Star Wars. The sequels killed Star Wars. The prequels killed Star Wars. The Acolyte killed Star Wars. And now The Mandalorian and Grogu have killed Star Wars. Holy shit. 50 years of death. The franchise has died 20 times, a dozen plus times. This is the zombie franchise. It's like, what the fuck? Shoot it in the head.
At this point, it's like Jason from Friday the 13th just keeps sitting right back up.
Right.
I saw a thing a while back, and we did a bit on this in one of our sidebars. Sidebar for us is something where we have like a 5-10 minute discussion about something with some images and things. One of the things about has Disney killed Star Wars? You mentioned it a few minutes ago, Tommy, about the hate has always been there.
Yeah,
we put on screen a picture of a fanzine because that's what we had back in the days of the original trilogy before the interwebs were a thing and we could do all this great conversating online. There was a Zine that people could subscribe to crap on Empire Strikes Back. That's all it was there for. They hated it. This was not a Star Wars movie. This has nothing to do with A New Hope. And why are we sullying this good franchise with this subpar movie? Yeah, that's a real thing. Somebody out there really thought it'd be pretty cool to have to crap on, in my opinion, the best Star Wars movie of all times. So.
Yeah, and it's always highly rated. Tony, can I talk about that on the air, what you just sent me? Because I don't know what's happening. What do you mean?
Chris mentioned he's going to be here in a couple months.
Oh, okay.
The director?
Chris.
Dr. Fury?
Oh! I didn't know. I was like, what? George Lucas? Wait, what? What do you mean the director? What? Your director? Like, what? Okay.
we have Jon Favreau on the line.
Right. All right.
I'm like, I will definitely stick around. I'm here. Yes.
Yeah, we're here. We're here. Okay. So now I think the more interesting question really isn't, is Star Wars dying? It's not. I mean, and we've talked about this before, like so many things in American culture, in the media, in the entertainment industry, things become institution. Star Wars is an institution. Saturday Night Live, as crappy as it is some seasons, it's an institution. Look, you've got a Darth Maul ducky. The franchise is not dead. If you can have a 3D printed Darth Maul ducky, then there's, it's not going to die. It's going to evolve. And as it evolves, you're not going to like it. Someone's not going to like it because it's not going to be their Star Wars. But so it's not so much, is Star Wars dead or dying? It's not. We know that. It's a moot point. It's not even worth talking about. But is the more interesting question, it's how are we engaging? Is that what's changed more than anything else? It's not even the content so much, because Star Wars will always be Star Wars. But it's how we're engaging. Is Star Wars dying? No. Is the internet causing harm to Star Wars? Yeah. I mean, because it's like, I've never had the kind of like aggressive, heated conversations about Star Wars with anyone in person. We've had some pretty good debates, pretty fiery debates back and forth. But then at the end of the day, at the end of the debate, we can say, you know what? I didn't like this thing. I didn't like this thing, but we both still love Star Wars. So let's go play, and that was like, that's at all stages of my life. It's been like that. But online, motherfuckers will just dig in, and they just will not see reason.
No, there's bravery behind a keyboard where you're not held accountable for what you say. And, because what people often forget is that when you're face to face, there's, it's the law of science where every action has an equal and opposite reaction.
You don't want to get punched in the mouth.
You're responsible for what you say, whether you like it or not. You are responsible. Yes, you have the freedom to say whatever you want to say, and I support that freedom, and I will back that freedom. However, that doesn't mean that you are free from the consequences for saying something goofy.
Yep.
So,
and I would say I would bet money that a lot of these people online that talk all this shit have never known the joy of being punched in the mouth. Like that is the only logical thing. Like I can't imagine any other reason for it. It's like, dude, you have never been punched in the fucking mouth. That's all it takes. Just one time, just boop, and your whole worldview changes at that point.
There's a great. We were gonna cover some of my Disneyland trip, but we had so much to go through tonight. I'm gonna tell a quick story because I love this. This is so on point. I was in the plaza where the Millennium Falcon is. They were doing what they call a lightsaber gathering at dusk, where everybody shows up with their lightsabers. You've seen pictures of it. It's amazing. There's just So I got in the front row. I got this prime spot, all camped out. I'm talking to people around me. Anybody out there listening to the podcast, if you took a picture of my belly to get our logo, go ahead and post it on our Facebook page. I think that would be. Oh my God. Because I met so many great people at Star Wars Night and on May 4th in Disneyland that everybody was just excited about being at a Disney park on Star Wars Day. And then there was this guy and they always find me at cons. I'm always in line for somebody, and I get that scene in Christmas Story when Ralphie and his brother are going to see Santa, and the kid with the goggle. I like the Wizard of Oz. I'm a magnet for these kind of guys.
Yeah.
This dude is standing around. Sorry, Tim.
Oh my god. Wait, hold on. It didn't. Wait a minute, Crash.
Yeah.
Crash, you are. I have to give you
that's
credit.
awesome.
You're masterful. You are absolutely masterful. We cut your bit this week because of time,
Right.
and you still snuck that motherfucker in there. You still found a way to tell a Disneyland story.
Yeah.
And with that being said, Crash, please
Yes.
shut the fuck up for a minute. And let's welcome back into the circle of nerds after a long
Oh,
absence,
it has been a while.
director Chris Fury
What's
of
happening,
Blur's
good
Eye View.
people?
Welcome back, brother.
Oh, what is going on, my friends? It has been a day celebrating my little girl's 17th birthday, so there it is.
Oh, hey, happy
There
you go.
birthday to her.
So, yeah.
Okay.
It was like that went a little longer.
There we go. There we go. Okay. There we we go. Well,
But
here,
no,
this
it's
is
been a while.
this
I've been
one's
on
for
this
your
all-
bank account. Now you have a 17-year-old daughter, and then that one's for the birthday celebration.
So yeah, that's exactly how it goes. It's like, oh, that's all right.
So thanks for joining us just in time to wrap up the show, Chris. Director Fury. No, we still got some time. We're going long today, and actually, you showed up at a really good time.
Mhm.
Before we do wrap, though, I definitely want to give you and Tim time to pimp your projects, of course, like we always do. You know how we do.
Right. Oh yeah.
Tony, your screen is black. I don't know if that's intentional or not.
No, I'm here. Just my
That's
computer's
fair.
acting up, but-
You know what? You're doing whatever you need to do back there, and you're probably saving us from some kind of a content strike or something. So that's, you just keep doing what you need to do, bro. So Chris, you saw the Mandalorian Grogu. Before we get into our next bit, because we're going to be talking about kind of like the current state of Star Wars and the franchise. So, but before we get into that, I would love to hear your take on the Mandalorian and Grogu, pros and cons. What are your thoughts?
I thought it was great. Number one, I thought it was a fantastic film, despite what critics are saying, because they say, oh,
Critics.
yeah,
Fuck that.
it cost. I think it cost 165,
Mhm. Yeah, we
and
just
the
talked about
numbers. I think it made like 163, maybe 167.
that. Yeah, in a few days, it's getting there.
Yeah, it's in number one. It did it its first weekend.
Right.
Two, it's holiday weekend, so
Yeah.
it still did very well for the release. I thought it was a fantastic film. Great father and son moments.
Yeah.
Great father son moments. I'm not even going to deny that. Even when it's Grogu's turn to look after his dad.
Right.
I thought that was
Love
quite endearing. I loved every bit of that. The fight scenes,
Whoo.
man. Shout out to Brandon Wayne and Lateef Crowder. My God, the opening act.
We talked about that. We 10 straight minutes of Din Djarin being a wrecking machine, and
I called
Crash
it
was like, it's like
James Bond
watching a James Bond. Yeah, it was like watching the opening of a James Bond movie.
Yeah. I loved every minute of it, and I've seen it in IMAX, so this really was just blowing my ears out. And I said I could use a lot more of this. I will say that for people who are just coming into it, if you've seen the show, fantastic.
Yeah.
But this is it's a great springboard, especially for kids and families, to get into it, because it's not really bogged down too much by the lore of the entire universe.
Mhm.
So that's a plus. Con, why didn't we get this sooner? There
you go. Yeah.
Why didn't we get this sooner? I enjoyed it. If you're a real Star Wars fan, and me and Tommy know how this works,
Mm-hmm.
we live in a time we're lucky to get as much Star Wars content as we get now.
Yeah. I think
So
all of us on the panel feel that we're all like original trilogy kids.
Yeah.
And we know about that, like 16-year gap
man.
between films where all we had was the books and
That's it.
comics.
That
and
time
our
when
toys
we walked in the desert in single file to hide our numbers. Yeah, I
to
remember.
hide our numbers. Yeah.
It's crazy. So when I hear people complain, I'm like, oh, this is what I'm like, I have nothing to complain about at all. Like, period.
Oh, no.
I enjoyed this thing from top to bottom. And I even did a quick review and I said, this could work as a show.
Mhm.
This can work as a ongoing theatrical release,
Yeah.
you know, for another adventure. And I'm like, this is the adventures of a father and son.
Yeah.
This is Lone Wolf and Cub.
It is Lone Wolf and Cub. It is Shogun Assassin. You know, it's I think Shogun Assassin was based on, I think it was ripped off from Lone Wolf and Cub. But anyway, so one thing I want to get your take on this, because we're gonna go. I got a couple questions for you. We're gonna go into talking about the state of, you know, Star Wars and where we're at with the franchise and things. But something that was overlooked by a lot of people, because it felt like it was a fun but more casual on the lore side.
Yes.
But one thing that we did discuss was the fact that with the death of the twins, it could potentially create a power vacuum within the crime world, leaving it open for Kanji Club to come to power, bridging us into the sequel trilogy. So if we could, and that's, you know, and you brought up a great point too, Chris, about how this could be an ongoing film series, because like we talked about earlier, those weren't the only two Hutts.
Exactly.
People are not going to stand for a single Mandalorian and his pet messing up our smuggling operations, our criminal operations.
Oh yeah.
And then taking out the guy on Shikari. I mean, I'm sure that's cutting into a lot of business.
Yeah, it did.
No one's going to just sit by for that. No one's going to take that lying down. So that could be the Mandalorian and Grogu too. Yeah,
the whole, like you said, messing up the power vacuum of the crime syndicate world that's taking place, and then just really upsetting the balance of what's going on. When, even though he's just doing what's right, he gets hired by the New Republic to do one job. He goes in, gets sent over here, and realizes, I don't really want to work for the Hutts because I know it's a problem. Absolutely. Only to turn around and realize, I was right to trust my instincts. Let's do this instead, and go the right way, of course. And despite it being the right way, it still creates another problem of issues of problems. Yeah. They're not going to see it right now until it really comes down to it.
Right.
You know, so there's no telling. Like with the twins going the way they did, who says they don't have backups? They're just like, they were getting ready to get rid of their only nephew to cut off any loose ends,
which means they're not hurting for Hutts. I mean, there's no shortage of Hutts. So we will have to wait and see. So Chris, I got a couple of questions here for the group about the future of the franchise. But before we do that, tell us a little bit about Blurred's Eye.
All right, so Blurred's Eye View is a podcast and web show. We talk about all the nerdy stuff. Wrestling, comics, anime, gaming. We interview a lot of dope Black creatives that talk about all this great stuff. We do reviews of TV shows and movies. X-Men 97 is coming up, so we'll probably be doing a weekly review of that. We have Mandalorian Grogu that we're going to be doing our own review of that as well, once the entire team gets a chance to check it out. And we just really have fun. We take 2 hours out, 4 hours, because we're Tuesday and Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern on YouTube and Twitch, and you can listen to us where you listen to your podcast. But we give people 4 hours a week to kind of get away from the wild reality that we're actually living in, and let them know, hey, it's fine to rise, resist, and rebel.
There you go.
We're a bunch of space bandits that's taking care of business, and there it is.
And that's our new closing tagline too: rise, resist, and rebel. That's
there
our.
It is.
So
shiny.
So let me ask you this: for people that don't know what blurred means or blurred culture, what is that? What is this audience that you want to give franchise to and voice to?
We are Black nerds. We are Black nerds, and like I said, Star Wars safe space. We are a safe space, to allow everybody to discuss it. And I see Grogu off in the corner, and then you see the tag right there, right about there. But yeah, we provide a safe space for blurs like us and even nerd allies to just talk about it and have out and just
Nice.
generally just geek out.
Yeah.
Just generally
Love
geek
it.
out because we see way too much BS. And besides, when people say I don't like politics, I said Star Wars, X-Men, Serenity, Star Trek. I can go on.
It's all politics. Nerd culture is political culture.
Hey, Chris, let me ask you something. You kind of touched on it. I go to a lot of conventions for the show well, in my own time, but I do a lot of reporting for the show from conventions.
For the show.
Yeah,
for the show.
Tommy's paying for my next trip to Disneyland. Let's put it that way. But I've been to a couple cons lately, and one of the things I've said this on the show. Tommy and I were both in the Rebel Legion and the 501st. We did the professional cosplay stuff, and there's a certain stigma about that. But when I go to conventions now, especially in areas like Detroit and here in Cleveland that has a very large Black population of nerds, I like seeing folks cosplaying what they love. I ran into a lady here at Fan Expo Cleveland.
Hell yeah.
A Black woman dressed like Princess Leia with the buns. And I said, ma'am, can I take your picture? And she's one of our Facebook friends now because a guy like me took a second to go, you know what? I see you. I appreciate you. What is that like? Because I used to work with people in Rebel Legion. I won't name names, but they were always sort of like casting, and they always said, "Well, okay, well, we need a Mace Windu or a Lando Calrissian." And I was like, "But what if they want to be somebody else?"
Right. And that's
what is that like for in the community you're working?
That is part of the conversations that take place. Is that you can cosplay whomever you like. It's
for everyone.
It's for everyone. As long as you're not doing white face, black face, whatever face to discredit the character or that race. Is like, as long as you're being respectful, that's it. And let me tell you, I have seen some of the most talented cosplayers on both sides of the realm that every time they come out, they blow my mind. I have yet to see anybody, man or woman, cosplay a Storm horribly. I have yet to see one. I literally seen one at BlurCon back in March, and
they put some love into it.
They put love into it. There was literally a guy who cosplayed as Storm for 3 straight days, 3 different versions of Storm, and every time I seen him, I said, "You're doing it. Yeah, you're doing it." I don't care what nobody is saying, but he was doing it.
I remember there was a couple years ago. There was a cosplayer, and she was getting shit. I believe it was on TikTok, everywhere, for cosplaying Hanada. And remember that? And she came out. She produced a song because people were like, Hanada,
Afro Cocoa Puffs.
And she's like, Hanada is in black.
Yeah,
and then you've got our friends, Head Nerds in Charge. They've been leading from the front. Yeah, for the community as well. There's. And that's the thing, and that's one thing that we've always talked about. Even when we were doing Circle of Nerd stuff, you and I, it's for everyone.
Here, I found the picture. Tommy, can you pull that up? Katrina Walker is her name. She's Facebook friends.
I like that wig.
Girl, love you. You rock that, Leia, and that's what I feel like this fandom is about. Is you find a character that relates to you, and you just run with it.
Yeah, like I've seen kids of all ages. Women, men of all different races and ages cosplay different characters, and I've never seen one that I've been disappointed with. Not once.
Oh, and look at
if you put your love and your effort into it, I don't care what race, color, creed you are. As long as you're having fun, I'm going to have fun because you're having fun.
You're celebrating fandom. You're celebrating fandom.
Cosplay should be colorblind. It doesn't matter because
that's a new tagline. That should be the tagline. Cosplay should be colorblind.
Yeah. It doesn't matter because the thing is that so in the movies, Princess Leia is white, but you know what? She's not real, so she could be whatever. Right. It doesn't matter. Let people be it. Let people have their fun. There's enough crap going on in this world. You don't need to crap on somebody's day to make yourself feel better. She looks lovely. She looks like she's having a fantastic time.
She looks comfortable. I'm gonna be honest with you.
She looks comfortable.
Hell yeah, she does.
She looked comfortable. And
So
you
I
know
mean,
what?
Yeah.
Not to go completely off topic. This is probably my ADHD or whatever. I don't know, but the girl standing behind her in a red coat, does she not look like Karen from Daredevil?
Okay, I was okay. Okay, it wasn't just me then. All right.
Like that was,
I was like, she was giving me something. I'm like, jacket, Buffy, maybe no.
but
I'm like,
her
and then I'm looking at
she's
the
giving me
hair.
like Karen vibe. Okay. All right. So anyway, all right. So
Look, I seen a woman who was wearing ripped blue jeans, a black leather jacket, and a scarf. And I thought she was doing Jessica Jones. She was like, "Oh no, I just like this all the time." You look great,
right? So you should cosplay that, and you could probably win a little cash prize out of it, out of your regular day wear.
So, in Monroe, Michigan, every September there's the Monroe Comic Con. It's one of my absolute favorite Comic Cons. If you're anywhere in the Michigan area in September, early to mid September, usually, check out Monroe Comic Con. But last year, and I'm trying desperately to find the picture, and I'm not having success right now. But there was a gentleman who walked in, full Darth Vader regalia, and I'm like, man, that is awesome. Can I take your picture? Because nerd, and I had to take his picture. And so he takes off his helmet, and it's this really nice black fella. And he looks at me and he goes, "That surprised you?" I was like, "No, James Earl Jones is black." And he's
I've used that on somebody. They were just like, "Darth Vader's white," and I'm like, "Technically."
Why, if he's white, then why is his voice box black?
Exactly.
Right.
I was just like,
there you go.
And you notice in the promo pictures from A New Hope, and I know this kind of goes down a little darker path, but a lot of the cast pictures were Mark, Harrison Carey, David Prowse. James Earl Jones did not get the respect early on that he gets now, and I think a lot of people in the internet comments forget that, because that was a very easy talking point people used to make during Kenobi when Reva was getting hate, and during the Acolyte they say, "Well, it's not that we hate this character because of the race of the actor, because James Earl Jones was Darth Vader." Yeah, but nobody gave a shit about that until like the 90s.
No, and that's what it is. I just had a conversation with somebody online about this today. This asshole was like, he was saying, no, different.
The other asshole.
Different. We know so many assholes. No, but he was
How many assholes we have on this ship?
I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes. So the guy was talking about, about the bad writing in the Acolyte, and because they hired DEI writers who didn't know anything about Star Wars, and they just wanted to put lesbians and everything. And it's like, in Crash, like you had said before, by him saying that, you just told me everything I need to know about you. But
my only hang up with the Acolyte was it was too short.
Yeah.
It was too short.
It was too short. There were some pacing issues. There was some clunky dialogue, but again, we've talked about it. But it's like, and I told this guy, and I said, don't shed your toxicity, throw your toxicity at us, and try to disguise it as your opinion. Just say it with your whole chest. Say the reason you don't like the show is because you don't like black people, you don't like gay people, and you don't like women in powerful roles. Just say it.
That's it.
Don't try to disguise it as, this is just one fan's opinion.
Right.
Don't be a coward. Don't be a bitch.
Our only question about Reva on our crew was like, who is doing this woman's hair? Because it was like she had micro braids. We like, who on
there was some time.
Yeah, there was some time put into that. Like, who's doing it? I'm like,
why?
Who's the hairstylist over
the Force? She was like,
and I think that's very short-sighted to think that she had like a droid or something. She's very powerful in the Force. She used the Force to braid up. I mean, there's no reason not to, but it was probably a droid.
Yeah.
It was probably a droid. Or what if it was Vader? What if it was Vader? I mean, how I would love to see that. I would love to see that cosplayed. I would love to see someone do a Reva cosplay and a Vader cosplay, and Vader is just there,
braiding up and talking about pre-order 66 times at the Jedi Temple.
Reminiscing. Don't let anybody else touch your hair after I touch it.
All right,
and Tommy, I blame you now, because all I can hear is for the new Acolyte season 2. If there's a season 2, they have to redo the theme song, and now has to be like a shout outing lesbians in space.
Yeah, because that's all it is. Lesbians, black lesbians in space. And they're witches too. So that's like the trifecta. Like, I mean, it's like there's
they're doing it everywhere. I'm like, exactly.
And the worst part is they didn't. Not that I expected this part of the fandom to pay attention to Clone Wars, but when they were the white goth chicks on Dathomir, it was
yeah. And I'm sorry, I don't care what anybody says. Mother Townsend was black.
Chicks on Dathomir.
Yeah. Mother Townsend's black. So if
that wasn't a Night Sister Temple, that was a Hot Topic.
Right. It was a Hot Topic. Damn. So with the Acolyte, I just want to say this one thing and then we'll move on. I see so many people hung up about Ki-Adi-Mundi's age, and I just, of all of the things to be hung up on, is the age of a tertiary character. Like, why? Like, who gives a shit?
Species.
Who gives a shit? Like, they were like, oh well, his age was established. It was established in like 1999 in an issue of Star Wars Insider. That shit is not canon. It doesn't count. Films and TV shows take precedence over everything. George Lucas himself has completely ignored what was in the novelizations. He ignored what was written in Splinter of the Mind's Eye in 1978. So he's been doing this since 1978. This is not a Disney thing. This is just a creative process. This shit just
ignored it from the beginning. Just move on.
Well,
just move on, right?
And there was a great video. I know we got a comment, but it was a great video of George Lucas being interviewed by Hayden Christensen during Revenge of the Sith, and they were talking about how he created Yoda. And I love this narrative that the online community works up that Disney Star Wars is bad because George Lucas had a plan from the beginning. And in this clip, he's basically explaining like, okay, yeah, we didn't. We just killed off Ben. We needed somebody to train Luke in the second movie, so we just made this like whimsical, mythical character. We didn't know his species, we didn't know his age. We didn't know anything about him other than he was wiser than Obi. I'm like, George Lucas was making this shit up as he went on. The Mind's Eye, was totally shipping Leia and Luke together. Yeah. So to tell me that they already knew that they were twins when you did A New Hope is complete bullshit.
And that book was supposed to be the next movie.
That was the backup plan if Star Wars had flopped.
Right. So but George was like, you know what? Let me go in this direction. And sorry, dude, that book doesn't count anymore. Welcome to the chat. Starfall 23 had a couple questions for us. Hey, do you think that Keanu Reeves would
I found it.
That's a cool Thor. That Keanu Reeves would play a great Darth Revan.
Pads and all.
And if you watched Maul Shadow Lord, of course we watched Maul Shadow Lord. We did a whole series on Maul Shadow Lord. You should go, since you're on our YouTube channel watching, you could go back and watch the episode we did about Shadow Lord.
It was awful. I skipped it.
You did not. No, you did not. So do we think that the Pink Twi'lek Devin will become Darth Talon? Okay, so no. Darth Talon, no, not at all. Darth Talon is someone, I mean, not to say that they couldn't bring her in, but but again, like we just said, I mean, they'll, based on the creative process, could she become Darth Talon? Yes, she could. I mean, technically she's from like 300 or 400 years in the future, like way far ahead. Right.
And there's already so much depth to her from this show that she's already surpassed anything. And come at me in the comments, haters. I don't care. Darth Talon was just fanboy artwork for comic book nerds. Not that there's anything wrong with comic book nerds, but my sister Snips brought up a great point about Darth Talon. Devin is like 19 years old. She's like Ahsoka. These are Padawans.
I think she's younger than that.
Younger than that?
I think she's like 15,
16. Yeah. So this idea that these guys want to see her become Darth Talon in the BDSM leather bikini.
They're the same ones that talk about. They're the same one that talk shit about black lesbian space witches.
Right.
So it's you know what they want.
They're all for it. But if it's not, then it's gross.
No. So will she become Darth Talon? I hope not, to be honest, because like Crash, like you said, she's already a great character on her own. So just let her.
I'm the same way.
Right.
I'm the same way.
So let her evolve.
I don't want her to be Talon.
I'm like, look, them announcing Maul, I was just like, sign me up. And then 2, I was just like, oh, this is much more interesting than I thought it was going to be. You know, I wasn't sure where they were going with it, especially after what we seen in the movie Solo, and then nothing. Which, by the way, fun fact, also came out on Memorial Day. Did not do well, but still is a great film.
Great film. Chris, I wish you were with us for our mall discussions. I really do. I would have loved to got your take on some of that because it was such a good show. So Keanu as Darth Revan, this has been talked about for years. I would love to see Keanu in Star Wars because we've got Carrie-Anne Moss in Star Wars. So I wouldn't mind a little Matrix reunion. So I think Keanu can do whatever Keanu wants to do as long as he doesn't have too many lines. Because that's not really his strong suit. I'm not saying he's a bad actor, but he's
Less
better.
is more.
He's better as the brooder.
Yeah. Thank you.
He's a better brooder. And Starfall also says, I heard that Abeloth might be coming to Ahsoka season 2. Natalie Portman might be returning as Padme, and Abeloth will take Padme's form to deceive Anakin.
Ooh, that's spicy. If it happens.
Ooh.
Yeah, I read that a little while ago as well.
Yeah, that's something to think about. All right.
That's spicy.
Ooh, that is spicy. All right. So Star Wars is dead. The franchise is dead for the 20th time.
I keep checking my pulse.
Yeah. I think some of these fake fans need to check their pulses too. So here's my question. This is what we started talking about earlier, Chris, before you jumped on. That's not even a question anymore. Is Star Wars dead or dying? We don't need to ask that question because we know it's not. 50 years, Star Wars will be here long after we're not. Once we've become one with the Force, Star Wars is still going to be rolling along.
Oh yeah.
So the question really is, where are we going in terms of like what happens next and the way that Star Wars evolves? My question, there's a two-parter for you guys. First of all, we've seen that there's not these big events like there used to be. We waited in line for the movies. We camped out overnight. I camped out overnight for The Phantom Menace, only to be completely disappointed by it. But we've waited in lines around the block to get in Star Wars movies. Over the years, you're not seeing that so much anymore. I'm sure different cities, I'm sure, larger cities, but is that a sign that there's potentially, and I hate to say this, but is there potentially too much Star Wars?
It's never too much Star Wars.
Well, no. At first blush, I always say the same. When I asked that question when I was writing this, I was like, "Hell, what the fuck, dude? Shut the fuck up!" No, there's not. No. But hear me out. This is why I'm asking the question. I don't believe that either. I think you can never have too much Star Wars. However, back in the day, back when we were kids and we were watching Star Wars, we would go years. Back in my day, we would go years between movies. So when the new movie was coming out, it was an event. Because we had like 3 years to watch it a million times, debate it a million times, really digest it, dissect it, and really, really take it apart and fall in love with it. That's why the original trilogy will always be the favorite for Gen X. But then, as we move on, we couldn't even go 16 years. We talk about 16 years between what is it? Oh my God. What's episode 3? Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
Revenge of the Sith.
So between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, in the canonical time, or between Jedi and Phantom Menace, I'm sorry, there's about 16 years, right? But even then we didn't have to wait 16 years because the special editions came out. Right. So there was still that we could see it and new fans were able to see it in the theaters. So it's like at that point, like, are we getting too much? Like, it's as soon as one project drops, we watch it, we engage with it, we enjoy it, and then boom, here's the announcement for the next project. It's been since the Disney buyout, it's literally been every single year. There's been something from Star Wars. And as a fan, and all of us have been through this as fans that have gone long stretches of time without any Star Wars other than the EU, which was then ignored and shat upon, so, and that was our headcanon for years and years was the EU. Right. That's all we had, books and comics. Right. So, but now we're getting something every year. Is it too much in that respect? Like, do we have enough time between projects Tim, you're shaking your head off your neck. Tell us what you're thinking. Tell us what you're thinking.
No, because the only way to answer all the questions is Star Wars is with more Star Wars. That's what we say on our show all the time.
Sure.
You can only answer Star Wars with more Star Wars. And if we're going to get answers to those questions, I need my projects to be released every year. Thank you very much. So keep them coming. There's not enough of them. And I will happily rebuff all the dumb duty heads who can't get it past their thick skull that we have walked through the deserts. We are now at the Star Wars buffet, and we're going to enjoy it. And if you don't like it, you can back away from the bar. Go watch something else. Go do something else. Go be something else. It's okay. You don't have to stay here and crap on the things that everybody else likes. You don't got to yuck somebody else's yum.
All right.
So,
all right. Tell us how you really feel, Tim. So there was a tweet a couple of years ago where this guy, he equated Star Wars to a restaurant. I don't know if you guys ever saw this. It made the rounds for a little while, but basically he said Star Wars hasn't always been a restaurant. You go into a restaurant, you order one thing off the menu. You don't like everything on the menu. You're not supposed to like everything on the menu. You order what you like, you eat what you like, you enjoy it, and don't be an asshole to the staff. And I was like, I think that's appropriate, especially now.
That's probably the best analogy.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the best analogy. It's not going to be everybody's taste, but they say, hey, if you go to the Star Wars restaurant, I suggest you try this. But if you don't, something else. I'm not a fan of this over here, but I like what they have over here, and that's fine. But like Tim said,
they even have a kids menu now. I mean,
they have a kids menu.
They have a kids menu. So even like Tim said, it's not necessary. And I wholeheartedly believe that's something I follow too. Is like, look, I like it. You're not going to change my mind. I am here, good or bad, for better or for worse.
And we're eating well. Star Wars fans are eating well.
So to say, oh, I didn't like it because of this, I'm like, look, I came from an age where we had to wait several years. Yeah. It's like, so to say I'm getting something this year, and then I might get a series or something, and then I get please bring it on. I'm like the guy with all the barbecue plates. I'm ready to eat. I am so ready. I'm like, this is too much. No, it's not. Shut your mouth. I want it.
Tim's putting the bib on. Tim's ready to eat more.
Go.
All right. Let's
go.
Can eat.
Right. I'm like,
all right. That. So we got Tim and Chris in agreement. Crash, do you think that there's too much Star Wars? Is it killing the vibe of Star Wars being an event in theaters?
No.
Okay.
I am in the feed me more camp. I am just, bring it on. I do think that our generation has sort of romanticized the image of camping outside of movie theaters, like we see in all the old newsreel clips from Star Wars and the original trilogy. I remember camping out for tickets for Phantom Menace because it was my finals week at Kent State, go Flashes. And it was the one day of the week I didn't have a test. That was when the tickets went on sale. So I drove over to the local mall, they had a movie theater, waited with a couple dudes, played Star Wars Trivial Pursuit. Again, I get that one guy that's got all the bonkers opinions and he's a chatter. And I'm like, F my life, get me out of here. But also again, we've talked about how the movie theater experience has changed after COVID. My sister Snips brought up a great point about this. We were talking after we got out of the movie, and you remember movie theaters up until recently were the only entertainment venue where you don't pick your seat ahead of time.
Yeah,
you had to camp outside the theater 3 hours before a movie you've got a ticket for to start, so that you weren't the guy that gets stuck in the upper corner of the theater. You got the shitty view seats. Everybody wanted that prime center section where everybody, you didn't want
trenches.
Nobody wanted to be the one that had to get up and excuse me, I got to go to the bathroom,
or sit in the front row where you're breaking your neck.
Right. Yeah.
I think we've romanticized the idea of camping out and the love fest of Star Wars nerds out on the outside the movie theater. I kind of like walking in 15 minutes before my show, get my popcorn, get to my seat, and just chill.
Because you're old crusty bastard now. That's why.
But
that must be why I like it too.
Events,
yeah,
sports
events. I
don't know. Do that. Regular theater shows, you go see a Broadway show. You don't have to camp. You don't camp out 3 hours beforehand to make sure you get the mezzanine seat.
Yay, Les Mis.
Here in Cleveland, we've got a really good theater district. I see a lot of the shows down there. They're good. But that's the difference between movies, is that now, because people's time is so, there's so little to go around, they can't wait 3 hours, and we got to stop for dinner beforehand and make sure we get through that cycle in time to get to our show on time. Don't you dare come in during the trailers.
No, you got to stop at the store to pick up, your candy, because it's going to be cheaper at the convenience store.
Popcorn bucket, or
we smuggle in peanut.
It was an event.
PO bucket head.
There you go.
Yeah,
we smuggle in
what
is it? Peanut M&Ms. We put peanut M&Ms in our popcorn. If you haven't tried it, do it. It's amazing. Fantastic. But we'll stop by the convenience store first, because it's only like a couple bucks for like a pound or two bag of peanut M&Ms. But then you go to the theater, it's like $6 for like a 4 ounce. It's like you get 5 M&Ms for like $6.
Okay, so all this crotchety old man nostalgia aside, I think that Star Wars is doing pretty well. The MCU kind of worked themselves into a little bit of a rut, I feel, where they were churning out so many movies and streaming shows at the same time. There was so much content coming out that
they didn't find the balance.
They couldn't find a balance, and the complaint was, and sometimes it was valid, that, well, if I don't see every show, am I going to fall behind? The beauty of what happened in Mando Grogu was you could walk into that movie theater not having watched a single episode of Mandalorian Grogu, and you get the gist. You can follow along. They gave you the basic information, and you can enjoy it. I think they're going to do a season 2 of Ahsoka, and I think that's the last Disney Plus series live action that we know of.
For a while.
For a while. Bob Iger really pushed Disney and Star Wars, Lucasfilm, to doing movies again, because they like that instant gratification of box office number.
Right.
Yeah, we earned this much money spending this. Like I just said, no Buck Rogers. Yeah. They spend this much on a movie. They want to get their return as fast as they can. With streaming, one of the things I found in Andor, people love to rave about how great Andor is as a Star Wars show, and it's good. I'm not knocking it. But they spent $705 million, and apparently they're
per episode, right? Or for the whole thing?
No, for the two seasons combined. It was supposed to be a 5-season series, which if they had made like a movie, that would take like at least 6-7 years.
Yeah, the mouse isn't gonna like that.
Mickey's like, "Where's my money?"
Right.
But so you do 16 hours of content with $705 million, and you only brought in apparently $300 million in revenue. So technically, Andor made a loss.
Yeah, but I mean,
but for all the acclaim it got, for all the award nominations, and fans raving about how, and the media raving about Tony Gilroy's the future. All Star Wars should be like Andor. What? Pay double the money that you bring in on return?
No,
that's part of the problem of the streaming era, if we're being honest.
Right.
Is that you're only getting so much money for these IPs that are massive. When we're talking about Star Wars, we're talking about Marvel, we're talking about DC, Star Trek. These IPs are massive. And if you're trying to funnel people into a streaming service like Disney Plus that has Marvel and Star Wars in it, you're only getting the same dollar amount to cover all these things.
All of it.
Whereas that movie ticket is earmarked for Mando and Grogu, not the time that somebody rewatched Captain America for the umpteenth time. That's
right.
I do it too, but I'm just saying.
And we're still in this like post-COVID era where we know that the film industry and the theater experience took a huge hit. So we're still bouncing back from that. People got so comfortable with streaming because they couldn't go anywhere. They couldn't go out. So now the streaming services were on point with that, but now, it's like we're still trying to bounce back from that. And Crash, there was a couple of things that you had mentioned. I agree with you now that you made me see this in a different perspective. It's assigned seats that's killing the theater going event. It's killing that waiting around the block, standing in line, camping out overnight, meeting people. Assigned seats killed that because there's no need for it.
I don't know if it's. I think it's worth killing. I'd be honest, because like I said, how many times you go to a movie theater and there was a sold out sign on the movie you want to see.
But it gave you a sense of urgency, and it was part of, you know what I mean? It's like, I got to get to the theater. And then, like you said, you meet people, you're playing Star Wars Trivial Pursuit. you know.
Well, that's what the internet's for now. You know, we
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but that's now your audience is not just the people camped out inside of your little AMC theater in Stowe,
Right.
Ohio.
But
Yeah, it's now you've got the entire internet, or shall we say, a safe space of people who aren't fandom menace trolls and grifters
Right.
who love Star Wars, and if people can come to a place like this and say, you know what, I had fun.
Yeah.
I remember recently there was a Sony executive who said exactly what a lot of fans and theater goers were saying. We need to bring back that 90-day window. We need to drop that ticket price. We need to make it more affordable. And I said, yes, and yes, because that 45-day window sucks.
Yeah.
Because once again, you're just like, okay, I got to get in there that first 2 weekends. Because if I don't, then they're going to drop you're going to miss the first 2 weekends where they're showing it in most of the theaters, most of the screens. And then that third week, a lot of the screens are less. So now you're stuck on certain times to go. You may not be able to work that time in.
And notice how much the promotions have been tied directly into go see it in IMAX before Masters of the Universe takes it or the Odyssey takes all of them.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong.
Has a hard on for IMAX.
And don't get me wrong. This year alone, as nerds, we're eating so well because there is something every other week, whether it's a television show, streaming service, or movies. We're getting fed.
We are
massive,
we are. But Crash, you brought up about Marvel, and there is, in my opinion, there's Marvel fatigue at this point because I ended up watching. What was it? Daredevil Born Again season 1 and 2.
Yeah.
But I needed to get caught up because I had missed a few things. In order for me to get caught up, I had to watch 6 movies, 14 different TV shows just to, I didn't have to. I'm sure I could have just looked up a wiki or looked for a recap, but it's like I wanted to watch Hawkeye, the Hawkeye TV series, right? This was like a couple years ago. But in order to watch that, I had to watch Black Widow, which I hadn't seen yet. I had to watch, I think it was the season 3 of Daredevil, which I hadn't seen yet. So it's like there was a lot of buildup before I could even get to the show that I wanted to watch.
The crossovers.
And this is why me and my team said they were missing Luis from Ant-Man to do a full recap.
Oh God, I need him.
Apparently, there is
give us a recap. Like, so in case you missed everything, and break that all down.
Honestly, I would pay a ticket price just to go watch him tell the story.
Same.
Tell the story. Tell the story. Oh, this is what happened. Okay,
hands down.
And now we're caught up.
I'll pay 2 tickets just for me. Let's go.
100%. So, what are our thoughts now that we've gotten that out of the way, and this makes me feel a little more hopeful. So, thank you, gentlemen. What do we think about the future of Star Wars? What are our predictions? Where is it going? Is it just going to keep on keeping on? Or?
There's a song from the 80s that said, "My future's so bright, I gotta wear shades."
That's Star Wars, huh?
And that's Star Wars for me. There's always going to be. We talked about this earlier. There's always going to be somebody who craps on Star Wars because it's jumped the shark. It's done this. It's done that. It's whatever. But there's always going to be a core group of fans who are happy with everything that's put out.
Mm-hmm.
There's that fandom in Star Trek. There's that fandom in Marvel. Right. There's that fandom in DC. These guys have their core fans who are, there's things that I'm not exactly thrilled about.
Sure.
With some things in Star Wars, but I will always find the silver lining because Star Wars is my happy space.
Right. That's not toxic. That's not toxic positivity. That's not you being a shill. That's just you enjoying the IP for what it is.
Yeah.
Right.
I totally agree. Totally agree. Where you see stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, so there's guys out there who, and don't get me wrong. So I've said this before. I've said it a million times actually. Harrison Ford's my favorite actor of all time. Han Solo's my favorite Star Wars character. I did not like the Solo movie because it didn't have my boy in the movie, and that was a hard thing for me to get past. I had to have somebody tell me how to watch that movie from a completely different angle, and then I started liking it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that I was crapping on the movie. Yeah, I left the theater pissed. I'm not going to lie.
But that's a you thing. That doesn't mean that the movie was bad. That's a you thing.
Right. That was a me thing. But you know what? Had I talked to any one of the three of you, and you guys would have been like, "No, man, I love this movie." The first question I would have asked, "Tell me why. What made you love it?" Because I want to know what makes you tick. I want to know what makes you appreciate it. Because I've found with a lot of things in Star Wars, and a lot of things in the nerd culture in general, my point of view, I got blinders on because that's what I see. That's what I like.
Right.
And sometimes we have to have those blinders taken off. And I think that's what's going on with Star Wars, is that too many people have their blinders on. They're not paying attention to the outside influences and allowing other views and thoughts to shape those and mold those ideas. And I think that that's why Star Wars will have a bright future, is because there are enough people who are having these type of conversations right here where we're going, hey, it's okay to dislike something. It's okay to be part of a fandom. It's okay to not appreciate everything in a fandom.
Right.
But there's enough people who are doing what we're doing, where we're finding the silver linings and things and going, yeah, even tonight, I didn't care for this part of Mandalorian and Grogu, but this was really cool. So check this out.
Right.
And that's okay. And I think that that's why Star Wars will have a bright future.
That's a good take. That's a really good take. Chris, what do you think?
I think they're in a great place. I've said it ever since Filoni has taken over. He's proven time and time again he knows the lore. He loves the lore. He's a fan, and he stays with it. He says, "Let's tell this story without condensing so much other stuff and making it confusing." He's like, "We got a story to tell. Let's tell that story and leave it open ended." Mandalorian Grogu can always go on to another adventure. Ahsoka, we know where that ends up leading to eventually. So second season, of course, that's going to be the cutoff. We could use another season of Skeleton Crew. Would love to see where that goes.
Please,
seeing stuff like this, and then going forward, it's like, I know what I'm in love with, and all those fandoms are exactly how I am. I don't have to love everything. I'm not a big fan of Secret Invasion for several reasons. Do I hate Secret Invasion? No, but there are certain steps in Secret Invasion that I just generally
it's just rough.
With.
It's just a slog. It's just rough to get through.
It wasn't the Nick Fury relationship. It was him losing Maria Hill, and we were just like, scroll? No. Where's the payoff? So right. It was things like that. But with Star Wars is the same thing. We can look at the prequels, and from a storytelling standpoint, they're really good. But they were also in an age where they were just really getting into CGI, and it doesn't hold up well. That part, that kind of sucks. But everything else around it, Anakin and Kenobi's relationship,
top tier.
Their battle scenes, to the point where when they bring Hayden back for Ahsoka, and they say, hey, you got to slow down. You got to slow down in your fights. Because it was just like, it was second nature to him. So it was just like, this man has a love for that culture.
He's like George Jr. He's George Jr. 100%.
Sam Witwer.
Oh my God.
He will shut everything down. He was like, get him talking about anything Star Wars. That's the man. And
we've talked about that before. It's like, Sam is like, you think you know Star Wars until you talk to Sam. Like you are so proud of your Star Wars knowledge until you sit down and talk to Sam.
And he puts you in a different perspective.
Yeah.
Fun fact about Sam Witwer.
Yeah.
So on my show, in the older incantation of the show, so we're Pop Culture Addicts now. We used to be Funny Science Fiction Podcast, or FSF Podcast. And back in the day when we had Sam on the show, we used to end our show with doing a little quiz with our guests over, some fun things. It was about like 6 questions. I went out and I found the hardest, or what I thought were really hard Star Wars questions. My man was answering the questions before I finished them, clarifying what I was asking. We got done with it. We never did another quiz after that. I was like, no, we're done.
Yeah. No.
My man blew it out of the water. We were done. We moved on. So yeah.
Chris will remember, we used to do a game show on our Circle of Nerds show, Masters of the Nerdyverse. And then we did this thing called Krusty Cantina, which was all like Star Wars games. But Masters of the Nerdyverse, it was kind of all over the place. It was whatever. Sam is the master of the nerdiverse. I mean, he is that guy. And it's like,
yes.
I want him on the show, but I don't want him on the show, man, because it's like I know
you don't want him to show you up.
No, it's like I know Star Wars, man. I know Star Wars, but I don't know Star Wars. Like I don't.
I was just about to say no, you do not.
But I don't, and I know because
the master has become the teacher and all these other things.
Because I've seen him in interviews where he's talking about like these little tiny things, like Dave, Maul Saber really wouldn't, and I'm just like, oh my God, you're just like so meta and so like next level with the knowledge. But that's exactly the type of people that we need in the franchise making content.
And it's not love. That you hate it. It's just like you love that. You're just like, he's so in tune with the universe, with that world, with that knowledge and that lore. You want that. You want to be like, he's the guy you want to go talk to.
Yeah.
Like,
and I think like what you had said too about, how he loves it. He truly loves it. I think now that I think about it, I think that there are some Star Wars haters out there. I mean, the ones that we call the fandom menace. I think they started from a place of love. I think that they loved the franchise so much. It's very much like an Anakin to Vader sort of situation. He loved himself into the dark side. I mean, and that's, he not loved himself, but he loved into the dark side. Like he loved so strongly, so powerfully that was ultimately what took him down, aside from, Palpatine's, manipulations. But I do think that some of these haters, I think some of that hate is coming from initially a place of love, but they're twisted by the dark side at this point.
Twisted and evil.
Yeah. So I agree. So Crash, your thoughts on the future of Star Wars?
I've already worked in one Disney park reference, so I'll
jeez. It's for next week, Crash, where I built a whole bit around it.
I know, but I'm just gonna say, I
have questions for you.
We're gonna cover those. Don't worry.
I know we will.
This is more of a general statement. I arrived in Anaheim on May 4th, Star Wars Day. They had an after-hours event. I didn't have a ticket for that one. I was going the next night. And but we went to the Disneyland right away. We went straight to Galaxy's Edge. And the amount of love you felt walking around, not just the other park guests, it was amazing. If you go on our Facebook page, I took pictures of all the characters were out there. There's usually a handful. They have strategic points in places. I think because they knew it was Star Wars Day, I think Disney said, send everybody. There was Rey, there was Sabine, there was Luke, Han, Leia, Vader. They were all over the place. And it was literally felt like being a kid in, I was the kid in Toy Story, in my toy box with all my favorite toys growing up and the ones that are still coming out. I think the future of Star Wars is great because there's, like I've said before about the Disney Plus shows, the franchise has branched into so many different storylines now, other than the main Skywalker saga, that there's so much room to explore. And whatever your yum is, you don't have to, you hate other people for liking a certain show. If you Tommy loves Skeleton Crew, love it. Root for it, be there for it. I'm a big fan of Rebel Pilot stuff. I'm still rooting for the Rogue Squadron movie to get made. There are so many avenues that Star Wars can go into now, other than just telling a episodic story of one's family's drama that affects the entire galaxy. That there's so many different ways to find something you love about Star Wars, and that's your thing. It's like the City Slickers. What's your one thing? And that's what I feel like why the future of Star Wars is going to be good, because everybody's going to, it could be this guy, it could be whatever you want.
Yeah. I mean, look at Star Wars Visions.
Oh man.
Star Wars Visions is probably one of the best examples of saying we can tell so many different stories
from different perspectives, different angles, different points of view,
different planets, different parts of the galaxy. It's such a wide berth that like you can literally create something as long as it has some form of tie to this. It doesn't have to be the Skywalker saga. You know, it could just be
Exactly.
It could be this one thing way out here.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with them.
And we're hungry for that anyway. The galaxy is so big, so many citizens, you know, so many stories.
Yeah,
you know,
I love that we've had shows like Andor and Skeleton Crew where there's not a Skywalker in sight, and well, there was in Andor, but that's
yeah, but we get it.
But you know, but in Skeleton Crew, there's not a Jedi, there's not a lightsaber, there's just
talk of Jedi.
It's just talk of it. I mean, it kind of happens towards the end of it, but that's fine.
They sneak it in there. Fine. They sneak it in there every chance they get. But like I remember when
there was all these great stories about things that were
in
not
between, right?
That were not Skywalker centric.
We got to see the galaxy.
If anything, the only ties they were saying was it's Goonies in space, or it's Michael Jackson Captain Neo. It was just one of those two. It was just like that's the same alien from Captain. Yeah, I was like.
It was also live action Planet Treasure, if we're being honest.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, that is true. That is true.
And who from Gen X, definitely, especially from Gen X, did not love Goonies? You know, so
if you didn't love Goonies, you're a communist.
There was something wrong. There was something wrong with you. Seriously,
I didn't see it originally. I missed that one. I love the movie. Yeah, it was fun when I saw it later on, but I wasn't one of those kids that was like Goonies.
Can we boot him from the chat?
Well, I don't do that around here, Tim, like you do. People say something you don't like. Chris, if you ever go on Tim's show, just make sure that you pay tribute to him and make sure you say everything right, because this motherfucker will mute you if you say something that he doesn't like. Mute, done.
I got the power button, baby.
You do. But I just have my sound effects. I mean, I could mute you, but I mean, I play the sound effects. All right. So before we wrap up, I agree with everything you guys are saying. I think that Star Wars has a very, very bright future ahead of it. I think it's going to outlive us all. But I think the future of it really may depend more, less on the stories and the content, than how we talk about them. You know what I mean? I think that's where the future really lies. Less about the stories, more about how we're talking about them and engaging with each other. I don't know if that's going to get any easier just because the internet is what the internet is. Haters have always been here no matter what, but I think that if we can find each other like we've all found each other. We're all positive on Star Wars, not toxically so, not blindly so. We like what we like, and we don't like what we don't like, and that's okay. And but we have these conversations. We have these important conversations. We have our debates. But we're not calling names. We're not saying that Star Wars is dead because people like space lesbian witches, and and we can find the silver linings and things.
Besides, some of the ones that are crying about space black lesbian witches, literally, let's say that's not a fantasy of yours. You just tell me it's not a fantasy,
right? You're saying I would be like, why do you have a problem with that?
It sounds like you're trying to threaten me, but you're actually giving me a good time. I'm trying to figure this out.
I'm over here like, I want to see your search history.
You're right.
There you go. Before we get out of here, this has been a 2-hour extravaganza. We've never gone this long before. That's what she said. Before we head out,
we lost Tony along the way.
Yeah, Tony was just like, I'm tapping out, man. I'm out of here. But
I'm done.
Before we head out, Tim, Chris, tell the people what you've got going on and where they can find you. Tim, I think you said you got to bounce here pretty soon, right? So do you want to?
Yeah, I gotta get out of
let
here.
the folks know what you got going on and where they can find you.
Hi, I'm Tim. I like nerdy walks along the beach. I'm Tim. I'm the host of the Pop Culture Addicts, and we're a pop culture interview-based show. So we talk to people each and every week in and around the creative spaces. This week on our show, we have Doug Jones from Star Trek Discovery and Hellboy. So that's the interview posted this week. Next week, we'll have an interview with Rachel Kimsey. She is the voice, one of the voices, the people to voice Wonder Woman for DC Animation,
Ooh,
and and a couple other things. She's been in X-Men '97 and some other cool projects. And just yesterday, I sat down with David W. Collins, the voice of Spybot from Darth Maul, also the voice of Proxy in Star Wars Force Unleashed. So we got a lot of cool stuff coming up, and that's just scratching the surface of some of the cool people that are coming on the show, and we've had a really nice run of luck here. We also do a live show every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, and would love for you guys to join us. Come check us out, share some laughs, and if you're a dick, I will kick you from the comments and I will boot you. So,
yeah, you will.
No, I'm not even talking about people on the show. I'm talking about if you're in the comments, being an asshat, you're gonna get. I've blocked so many people. It's just
we're lucky. We don't get that much traffic, so like the traffic we do get is usually pretty positive. So we're lucky in that. So.
There you go.
But yeah, check out Pop Culture Addicts. Absolutely good fun. Oh, what?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Our if you want to find us online,
oh yeah, you got to do that.
I'm really bad at this self-promotion thing. So if you want to check us out on all our social handles, we are at PCA Pop Culture Addicts, at PCA Pod Show. You can find us at PCApod.com. And as a matter of fact, if you go to our website and sign up right now, we've got some awesome giveaways that we're doing. So like if you are a fan of Fallout Season 2, we've got some Blu-rays to give away. Ooh. I've got some digital codes for Plants vs. Zombies, the video game, whether you're playing on Xbox, PC, whatever. I got a whole bunch of other movies. There's some Tom Cruise movies in there for people who like bad cinema. I can send you one of those. So anyway,
we need to talk offline because you need to teach me the ways of like getting promo stuff.
All right, I can help.
Yeah.
I know a guy.
All right, I know you do. You know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy. Chris,
exactly.
Let's tell them where they can find you and what you do.
Well, I am Chris Fury, captain of the ship, man on the wall of Blurred's Eye View. You can see that right up there at the bottom right there. You can catch us everywhere. Blurred's Eye View podcast on the Book of Faces and at Blurred's Eye View on Instagram. And you can catch us through the Clock app as well. Every now and then I'll pop up on there and give something a little fun to talk about. We are live Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern on YouTube and Twitch. You can also listen to us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. If you want to watch us undisturbed and watch past seasons, you can always go to Always Press Record TV. That's APR TV through your Roku and Amazon Fire devices. And we might be covering Spider Noir next week. They dropped the entire season.
Yes, they did.
and gotta say, I'm 3 episodes in and I'm liking this.
Yeah.
I finished episode 1 last night.
Yeah, it's very nice. If you're liking the, it's a thing. It's a thing.
Okay. Now, are you watching it? Are you watching it in color or black and white?
I started off in color. I'm going to go back and watch it in black and white. I want to see the contrast there.
Okay.
But it's definitely a fun ride if you're like into 1940s gangster style type of stuff.
And it's Nick Cage.
It's Nick Cage. I'm like, yeah, like literally Sam Spade type of action.
Nice.
You know, it's really right there, and I'm like, oh, this is not what I expected, but this is what I expected. You know, so.
All right.
But yeah, it's a fun ride. But yeah, we'll be talking about that. We're gearing up for X-Men 97 to drop in the summer. That's gonna be fun.
Looking
if you were
forward to
around,
that.
if you were around for the first season where we covered it every week and did a breakdown, you'll want to see this for this one. What are the X-Men up to? You never know. And we'll be talking to some really great guests and some upcoming creatives coming through on the pipe. We recently had Mike Otis, who's actually here in Cleveland. Mike Otis, 216, you check him out. He has Night Thrasher Origins. And the cover. Here it is. Yeah, Night Thrasher Origins. Here we go. Night Reaper Origins. Really, really cool cover, really cool interiors, great story. If you like anything Daredevil, Punisher style, revenge, that's it. But we talked to a lot of really cool people, and we just have a lot of fun, man. And we got a couple weird skits. All
right.
All right.
Chocolate salty balls, pop start steak and cocaine, you name it. We got a little bit of everything.
All right. So you're doing a commercial. You know what? I might have to submit my my commercial from OMS. I don't know if you remember that OMS
Yes.
commercial. That was
You
out
know
of
what?
control.
I'm glad you said that. I'm also I also do a lot of voice work on the side. So if you go to Talk Story to Me on Spotify, don't ask me which character I do because I do several. I think I do at least 4 or 5 different characters through different types of stories. My favorite is Dathamus, where I play an actual villain, a super villain, and
That's got to be fun.
oh, that was a ball in the park right there. That
Well, when you get a chance, send me links to all this stuff. That way I can put them in the description for the show this week.
oh yeah,
That
definitely,
way people can link. So, because I've already got Tim's info and I got Blurred's Eye, but this other stuff you're talking about for the VO stuff.
Oh
So
yeah,
I'll put it in there. That way people can check you out.
All right, cool.
Thank you, gents. Crash, what do you got going on? You're just here.
I'm just here.
You're just here. You're handling business, man, on our Facebook group and our private secret Swarzy Curious Facebook fan group.
Yeah, that's been picking up lately. We've been gaining new fans. Yeah, the more we get out there, the more, like I said, I met so many people out on the West Coast that were interested in a positive Star Wars safe space.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to the show, welcome. I'd say it's always like this, but this was a trip tonight.
It was.
I'm gearing up for some trips over the summer. We're going to be heading out to Fan Expo Chicago. They got some Star Wars guests I want to get. So I'll have some more stuff to report from that. And then we're just going to be kicking it with, eventually after this, we're going to get back into the Bad Batch and go.
Yeah, I was about to announce homework. So we're back on that. We're back on our grind, running through Star Wars in chronological order. So next week, your homework is going to be back to the Batch. We're going to be hitting up the Bad Batch season 1, episodes 10 through 13. We're just kind of picking up where we left off. Because, of course, we got a little sidetrack with Maul. Little sidetrack tonight. We were supposed to do Bad Batch tonight, but I mean, who can do that with Mandalorian Grogu? And we need to address the fandom menace like we do. We will always fight for positivity in the fandom. So, but there you go. Homework next week. Back to the Batch we go, and back to me trying to learn to love the Bad Batch because I don't. This will be my second time going through it, and
I'm looking for my pearls so I can clutch them.
I'm trying, but I can't. It's I have to drink because of the Omega thing. So I'm just gonna
Okay.
because I am such an EU guy. The Bad Batch should have been Omega Squad. It should have been the story. I know. All right, it should have been the story.
I just finished mine, so.
Yeah, okay. So it should have been the story of Republic Commando. It should have been the story of Republic Commando. So, but again, I'm learning to appreciate it. I just need to learn to love it, and so far I don't. But anyway, back to the Batch next week. And before we head out, we've got to, of course, do our brand pimping and our merch pimping. So if you want some of our merch, if you like what we're doing and you want to show your support, head on over to our website. circleofnerds.com. I have a pop-up for it right there, circleofnerds.com/merch. And you can pick yourself up a couple of shirts, a couple stickers, and let the world know that you are part of the Circle of Nerds and the Star Wars safe space, or let people know that you're just a little Swarzy curious. And if you want to keep up with us online, you can check us out everywhere at the SWS Show on all of the places, and watch us on YouTube or listen to us wherever you get your podcasts, because we are on every podcast. And I think that's going to do it for us. So, gentlemen, thank you for joining us.
Always.
And obviously, you both always have an open invitation. So if you guys want to come back and talk about the Bad Batch, once we're done with that, we're rolling into Rebels. If you guys want to talk about Rebels, I
have lots of thoughts about Rebels.
There you go. So we're doing, like I said, we're doing everything in chronological order. So some things. Criminal. Right? Well, and what's interesting too is that once we get to Rebels, that's going to be mixed in a bit with something else. Now I forgot, but it's almost like
Andor, probably.
Andor, yes. So we're going to be doing like the way that the timeline works out. It's like a few episodes of Rebels,
and then you jump over,
and then we're going to do a couple episodes of Andor. So it's a very interesting way to watch it. It's a little sloppy, but one thing that we have found by watching it in chronological order, some stuff just hits a lot harder. Some stuff is just a little more heavy. There are better ways to watch Star Wars in different orders, to look at things as flashbacks and the machete order and all that. Yes, but this chronological order, you're seeing the rise and fall of people. You're seeing these relationships develop, especially with Ahsoka. As we're going through watching this with Ahsoka, it's just been a treat. So thanks for joining us this week, Star Warriors. We know that you could be somewhere else doing anything else right now, but you chose to be here with us, and we absolutely love you and appreciate you for that. Also, as always, a tip of the hat to our active duty service members and veterans around the world for helping to make the world just a bit of a safer place. So we do appreciate you for that. And if you want, join the conversation, drop your theories, hot takes in the comments down below. And of course, you can check us out again every Friday night, live, every-ish Friday night, live here on YouTube and Facebook, 8:30 Eastern. So before we head out, does anyone have anything? Anything else?
No, not me. I'm just, say goodbye.
Okay, goodbye.
I'm heading out this weekend. I'm going to take my folks to see Mandalorian Grogu. Yeah, they're a little older, so they don't do movie theaters as often. As like that line from the movie, the old protect the young, and then the young protect the old.
Yeah,
there you go.
That's how it is. That's how it is.
This is the way.
This is the way. I love it. All right, so that's going to do it for us this week. We are done. We are gone. We are out of here. And as always, remember, rise, resist, rebel, and we will see you all next week. Bye.